Football is just my world away from the other world. When I step onto that pitch and I'm out there with my teammates and I can just go into battle with them.
And you work so hard and sometimes you don't get the rewards, but when you do get the rewards, it's an unbelievable feeling.
There's nothing like it. You know, football, it's got drama throughout the whole game.
It's just exciting when you see them playing at the best and playing with no fear.
That brief 90 minutes on the pitch, just nothing else matters.
The World Game is Tasmania's game.
Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street, for another big showdown between South Hobart and the Hobart Zebras. They've met twice already this year, once in the league, once in the Lacca Seljuk Cup, and goals have been the order of the day. I think we've got 17, something ridiculous like that. In the matchups they've had, they've been pretty free scoring affairs, and Gabriel Marcage has said they're going out even more attacking today. He's doubling down after they were dismantled by the Brazilian Renato De Vecchi Marins at the last time they met. That was at this ground. In round one, it was Hobart Zebras or North Hobart who won 5-3. I'm Andrew Calling for Slice of Cheese. Joining me for this huge game today, Paul Hunt, perhaps later Jake Morgan if he ever bothers to rock up. But for now, Hunty, what are you expecting out of this big showdown today?
Well, I mean, the main talking point, what we're expecting today is goals, goals, and more goals. That absurd stat that you said before. Both teams, certainly Zebras, like to have got more of attacking intent and less defensive skills so far this season. South Hobart have kept at the back. Not too bad throughout this season, although they do have a big out in centre-back today. A late scratching on the team sheet with the Imperial Dogger Brown sitting up here in the grandstand alongside us here today rather than out on the team sheet. We'll see what impact that has, especially now Jakob Sklenarge is back from his European sojourn the last couple of weeks there as we zoom in on the aforementioned Dogger, who's not too pleased at sitting in the grandstand, which is what you'd expect from the customer that is Dogger Brown. Expecting pretty free-flowing goals for another Deveki Marines. Absolutely tore it apart last week in the Lakers Seljet Cup semi-final, and drawing a smile off most South Hobart people here as we have a look at the goals. Previous match in the NPL between these two sides.
Kobe Kemp in a little bit of space.
Showing why he would have been Mitsubishi medalist this season had he not done his knee in the following game with a rifling finish there. They put South Hobart ahead, but from pretty much that point on, it was mainly Hobart Zebras, especially in that second half. And it's gone the way of the home teams so far in the two matchups here as we have a look. The Zebras' first goal, rifle volley in, and the poacher Colonel Sanders in there popping up like a popcorn chicken fresh out of the oven. To make that 1-1 it was certainly one of the better NPL atmospheres as well that night at North Hobart Oval with the lights on. I thoroughly enjoyed being there on that occasion. And then Adam Gorry, with an absolute piece of brilliance to full Sheku Kamara. You could put that down to the keeper, but it's great awareness from Week 7's Salad of the Week nominee, Adam Gorry, also known as South Hobart's favourite ranger.
I did ask him about that goal and said, had you noticed a tendency of Kamara to go down? And he said, nah, just hit it hard. I was prepared to give him all sorts of credit. He said, nah, just hit it noped. Well, it worked out all right for him. But it was a cracking game, wasn't it, looking at some of these goals? And let's hope we get something very similar today, Paul.
Yeah, and we did last time as well, although it was a bit more one-sided, the scoring. It wasn't quite as evenly distributed as his first game. South Hobart really ran away with it last time, but Zebras, we hadn't seen a lot of Iski Van Dorn prior to this first NPL game, and he really shone out on the wing and setting that one up for the Colonel Sanders in a very buoyant mood at this time. Expectations have been dampened slightly by their form of late, and that's a tap in there for Nick Morton. A pretty similar finish to the Colonel's first goal as well. As being distracted down on the sideline there, we have returning South Hobart player I've not seen all season, Hugh Ludford, warming up down there, which I'd not noticed. And getting back to the highlights of this first game, this was probably my favourite goal, the outside of the foot, and a lovely run in from Iski Van Dorn. And he really deserved a goal on that occasion. He was an absolute star. And again, been slightly tempered in the last couple of weeks. These teams have learned to figure him out and got a bit more tape on him. He's an absolute difference maker in Iski Van Dorn, and the sealer at the back post to Sunday McKeown led to rapturous celebrations. Anyone who was at the Italian club that night certainly had a good time by all accounts. And that was how the first NPL matchup between these two sides fared. South Hobart dominant in the second game there as we look at keepers warming up. And we probably should look at the team lineups fairly soon as well. And there's South Hobart still starting with number 1 Kieran Brown in goals. It's been a bit of a competition between him and Graham Wright this season. We saw Graham Wright in goals on those highlights just before, but Brown has well and truly sealed that position the last month. Connor Schmidt and Adam Gorry bombing on down the flanks as they like to do here at Darcy Street. Number 5, Hugh Ludford. Once you lose the experience of Dogger Brown, it's always handy when you bring someone of the pedigree of Hugh Ludford into the lineup. Number 6, and it's like Feral TV coming to the starting lineup, especially since Kobe Kemp's absence, just in that defensive midfield role. Really likes to just shield and lay it off to the more attack-minded centre midfielders, number 7 and number 8 there, Nick Morton and Jack Turner. Ryan Cook, the chef, and we'll see whether he ends up at a wing or at fullback today. He seems to be pretty interchangeable, Connor Schmidt and him. Alex Walter, the dynamic winger. Number 13, Oscar Thomas, lining up in centre-back. And then a real man of the moment in South Hobart, Renato Deveki Marines. He has brought a touch of Brazilian quality here to South Hobart this season.
He really has. He's been a phenomenal addition to this team. He's really helped kickstart their season. Early in the year, South were playing good football, just not hitting the back of the net. Well, since his arrival, They've been hitting it pretty routinely. On the bench, Jack Bowman, Antonio Saraceno, Jacob Brennan, Isaac DeGhetto, Graham Wright, the backup keeper. So centre-back, backup keeper, and then 3 pretty attacking options up the sleeve as we welcome in Jake Morgan for the first time today, Morgs.
Yep.
How you feeling for your boys South Hobart here today? Confident?
I actually am today. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Looking forward to a bit of feral TV getting stuck in the midfield, and I'm really looking forward to the battle between him and Geordie Muller. Whether or not he will allow Geordie Muller to distribute the ball in the way that the Zebras love him to do so. So that is a big battle. And may I add that I start when I want.
Fair enough. Good to see you were tuning in then. As certainly, I think Geordie Muller might have a role to play in shutting down the brilliant Brazilian today in Deveki Marins last time around. We saw Jaden Hay deployed in almost a man-marking role at the back to try and stick with him. It just didn't work. It threw out their structure. I think we'll see the Zebras going away from that today as we run through the Zebras lineup today, and a very good-looking lineup. It is at the top there. Jaden Hay, been in some very good form this year. I'd expect to see him playing out wide. Benjamin Robinson, he's capable as either a fullback or as a centre-back, and I think we're more likely to see him as a centre-back today because of the addition of number 10 there, Riley Dillon. Don't be deceived by the number, a fullback who's come across from Bentley Greens midweek, so a big pick-up there just before the deadline for the Zebras. That will help them. Jan Harutza will line up at centre-back, you'd expect. Geordie Muller will sit just in front of the defence. Now, we'll wait and see how the attack lines up, but Mark Carge was just teasing Luke Hughesloot might be poised to lead the line today and change things up from the last time with Sanders and Sklenage in behind him. Now, you've always got to take what Gav says with a slight grain of salt, but if he was preaching truthful, that's what we might see from this team today. Then you've got the likes of Adam McEwen and Iski Van Dorn in support. That is a hyper-attacking lineup if you'll ever see one, gentlemen.
I'm really looking forward to the Zebras painted 5-0-5 formation they're going to be rolling with today, especially if you put Hughie up front, Sklenage and Sanders, describe them as midfielders, neither Iski Van Dorn. Assuming Geordie Muller and Jaden Hay will eventually track back, but it does look like a midfield, a side devoid of actual central midfielders here, which is an interesting tactic from Gabby Marquez, but we'll see how that turns out for him. What do you reckon, Morgs?
Yeah, I'm just having a good look at that team sheet. I wouldn't be surprised if he's lining up 3 at the back for sure.
He suggested that Van Dorn could play fullback as well.
Just, having a look at that, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he goes with, and if I'd be surprised, given that it's a bit of a fashion in football these days, to kind of fashion the fullback into a left or right-sided centre-back in a back 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps that's the role we see Riley Dillon in today, despite the fact that I've never seen him play and know nothing indeed about him.
Well, that's very much by design. Gabriel Marquez, he was not too pleased when Walter Pless dropped that name at the press conference on Friday. Well, didn't drop the name, but just the Bentley Greens fullback on Friday. He wanted to keep that under his lid, refused to address any speculation on that one. Had a special training session last night, gentlemen. This team trained at 4:30 yesterday evening to prepare for this one. Highly unconventional stuff, but that's how they operate at times. And we'll see if it pays off. He just wanted his new player to integrate with the squad a bit, and he's put him straight into the starting lineup today as we look at that table, and that's why it is such an important game with the 2 northern teams winning yesterday. A bit of a gap opening up there, 3 points vital even for both these sides today.
Both Launceston City and Devonport slotting 5 past the southern teams yesterday down here, Kimber and Clarence. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of it, but it seemed fairly one-sided.
You know,
for me dropping in and out.
Looking at that table, fellas, it's almost like the team that loses this game is pretty much out of the title race, I dare say, even at this early stage of the season.
Still a little early for me to go with that one, but certainly it's going to be very hard. You've not got much margin for error if you were to slip up today. You'd almost have to go close to running the gauntlet. But the one thing perhaps in favour of teams, if they did drop points, is the depth in the competition this year. The top sides are perhaps more likely to drop points than we've seen in previous years gone by. But it's all a very interesting table. I don't think too many would have picked Launceston City to be sitting atop undefeated after 8 rounds. What a season they're having.
Or is that Devonport 2016?
Well, there's been plenty of comparisons made to them, that's for sure. Jez Kemp's doing a fine job at City, and I'm sure both those teams are going to be looking down at this one today and cheering the draw on pretty vociferously, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I would say both Devonport and half of Devonport's 2017 team up at Launceston City will be supporting the draw here today at Darcy Street, but it's certainly making for an interesting competition, and having especially a team from pretty much if one of these teams win, a team from all regions of the state in the top 3. Nice bit of geographical diversity there in NPL Tas. That's what we like to see in a thriving statewide competition that we have here in the round ball code.
You certainly don't see that in the AFL, do you, Andrew Cooling?
Oh, I don't think they've got a coastal team on top of their state league, that's for sure. But all poised for a big one here. The Devonport Strikers, they're flying at the moment. They are going from strength to strength, but still 4 points behind that Launceston City team, who was so impressive in that victory over the Kingborough Lions. But to the business here today, Darcy Street. Let's go with a few predictions before we reach kick-off. I'm expecting goals. I think this is going to be filled with them, and I'm going to lean towards the hosts. I just think the way Deveki Marines is playing right now, I loathe to tip against them. I will go 5-3 South Hobart. A little reversal of opening night.
Yeah, the reversal there. I'll go in a similar vein. I'm going to go 3-2 South Hobart. I reckon there'll be, as Alex Ferguson used to call it, a bit of squeaky bum time at the end of this game, with Zebras throwing their tall timber forward, but I think they'll just about hold on here, South Hobart, with Tavecki getting a couple and one of Walter or Jack Turner, the cork in the ocean, bobbing up there somewhere. That's going to be my prediction.
I think I'll go 2-1 to the Zebras. I've swung about in the last 10 minutes.
What kind of home fan are you?
Yeah, just because you're all, you're backing in the home team, so we better get a bit of diversity on the panel. I'll go 2-1 victory to the Zebras today. I think it's going to be a bit more of a cagey affair than we're all anticipating here, because all these groups of players are going to come into the game knowing what is on the line here today, so they cannot afford to be off their game, and I think that will lead to seeing players who are perhaps a little bit more defensively inclined than usual.
I guess the one thing I'm curious about is I don't know how much action this year Hugh Ludford's had so far at centre back. I don't know if he's played any reserves or anything like that. And he's got Jakob Sklenage and the Colonel Sanders to face. That might just be one little weak point in South Hobart's team. An experienced customer and a man of absolute quality, but just that lack of match fitness against such a strike force might be a factor. And then alternatively for the Zebras, Sheku Kamara didn't have his greatest game in the world against South Hobart last time. He'll be out for some revenge, and you've got a point to make there, Morg.
Yeah, has Hugh Ludford pulled rank and just taken the number 5 off Oscar Thomas there? Because I could have sworn that Oscar Thomas had been wearing the 5 for the beginning of the season, but definitely seeing Ludford out there wearing it. He's named in the match guide as being number 5, Oscar, so perhaps a little bit of the senior player coming in there and just telling the young lad, that one's mine. Yeah,
I think Hugh Ludford does what he wants around these parts. If he wants the number 5, he shall have the number 5 royalty around these parts, Hughie Ludford. And good to see him back out there, replacing the injured Jogger Brown. And the man he'll be partnering, I think, has just been in fantastic form this year. Oscar Thomas, really impressive defender. I'm not sure there's many better than him. We're having discussion recently, if you're picking a Tasmanian state team, who would your starting centre-backs be? For me, Lucas Hill and Oscar Thomas. That's how good I think this youngster is.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. He burst onto the scene he was part of South Hobart's 2015 FFA Cup run and had a bit of a struggle with injuries in 2016, early 2017, and then it's been pretty much uphill after that near goal of the year effort here last year, as we'll attempt to stay on YouTube as ACDC blares that over the top. That's usually instant dismissal from YouTube.
They'll make it
stick in there.
Make it very hard to download post-game, that's for sure. The old copyright of Akadaka just blasting out around here.
As soon as it hits more than 5 seconds, we're done of Akadaka. But I'd agree with that. The height and speed of Oscar Thomas is an absolute feature, and then the giraffe-like legs. I can't wait till Hughsley and him go into a battle today. It'll be like 2 giraffes going after some prey.
Wouldn't normally associate the giraffe with predatory behaviour. As we take a look at the officials here today.
Leaves,
Praying mantis, maybe, as Brenton Copra will be the man in the middle today. Josh McInerney and James Hamilton on the line. So a big refereeing team for this big clash. We're just about to get underway. Hugh Sloot looks to be lining up top as promised. Dylan at left back. And we'll see how this lineup goes. Aniski Van Dorn, as teased, could well be lining up as a right fullback as we get underway. Will the offence pop today as it has in the last 2 meetings? The stakes are high. Both teams desperately needing the 3 points. Oscar Thomas across to Hugh Ludford. It's a pretty still day here at Darcy Street. Fairly cool conditions. good day for football as Thomas gets South started by launching it over the head of the Morthog. Deveki Marins was lurking. Here's Geordie Muller, going to be important today, and Iski Van Dorn, he's indeed occupying that right back slot, so that is a hyper-attacking lineup. Hughes, Sloot, Sanders, Sklenage, McEwen, Van Dorn in defence.
Yeah, Jaden Ho has played a lot of his career at right back. We often say that his versatility is sometimes works against him, but he has played right back a lot in his career, and to have him at left wing and Iski Van Dorn at right back, it's an interesting move there as we see Hugh Sloot and Sanders combining well. And that one's just left a little bit too far in advance there from Riley Dillon.
I absolutely love it from Gabriel Marquage, Paul. I'm going to cut you off right there because, yeah, if we're just having a look at this, he's got two of the top scorers in the league, the two top scorers in the league last year, playing as attacking midfielders with the lighthouse of Luke Hoogsloot up in front of them. So this is extraordinarily attacking from Gabriel Marquage, and I absolutely love the fact that he is willing to do that and take his role as an entertainer seriously. As we see Schmidt combining with Gorry here. Back over the top to Walters. Gorry overlapping as he typically does. Beautiful cross. Nobody back stick though except for that man, Iski Van Dorn, playing in an unfamiliar position today. He charges up the field. It's Sunday McEwen to his right, but we just see Luke Hoogsloot ride the challenge there and win the free kick for the Zebs in a promising spot.
I'm really struggling to think of a comparison in world football of such an attacking lineup. I was racking through my brain there. I'm thinking maybe Spain 2010 World Cup when they had about 8 attackers on the field and just left Busquets back, it seemed like, as Jaden Hay can't get that one past Adam Gorry. I was thinking United when they tried to have Berbatov, Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo on the same pitch at the same time. But yeah, this is an exceptionally attacking lineup here, and he did set the task of 100 goals this season for his side, did Marquez, and you've got to get it somehow.
Yeah, he's going to try and outscore Luke Bowman. He's very much sticking to his philosophies. The thing when he was talking through what he's going to do with South Hobart on the attack here, Nick Morton trying to make some inroads down the right. Slides but can't quite keep it in. But the point he did raise was Hugh Sloot, a very good player with his back to goal. He can hold the ball up. That's not really Sanders and Sklenage's strength. So when they play up top, they probably don't do that as much, and he'd prefer to have them running off Hugh Sloot. So we'll see if theory translates to success, but I think that's probably the main reason as we have our first look at Riley Dillon here.
It was a brilliant throw from the young lad, just not quite getting into the field of play there. Has the beautiful advantage of being able to take that one again though. Heaves it up towards Hay, but headed away by Walters. Falls in the middle to the Vetchmarines. Great ball over the top, and he's in here, is he? But just chipped away there. Great last-ditch defending there.
It's great to see Iski Van Dorn as the last defender. It's not something we're used to here, coming across from the right-back position.
Just chipped away there.
Jack Turner, that's in the back of the net. Jack Turner, the aforementioned. And there before, we were still commenting on the replay there, and a quickly taken set piece there, and South Hobart have hit the lead.
Yep, they've taken it short. Adam Gorry swings in the cross, and all on his lonesome at the back post is Jack Turner. The cork in the ocean bobs up once more, and a lightning thrust up from South Hobart. What I really like, a bit of cup of life blurring out afterwards, just getting me in the mood for Russia 2018, that.
17 days to go, I believe, before Russia 2018, and South Hobart certainly not thinking about that. They're already on the score sheet after 3 minutes. And quickly taken.
He's not going to be happy at Harutza and Robinson there, I don't think.
No, and that back pass is left a bit short for Deveki Marines, but Robinson gets a toe in. Now Van Dorn looking to switch the field of play towards Hay, but Gorry gets a touch on that one. Colonel Sanders battling against Walter. Tries to lay it back for Dillon, but he's left that short, and Gorry gets a high foot in there on Geordie Muller. It was knee height. That's a little stinger.
He never pulls out of a challenge, does he, Gorry? Absolutely love that about him. So often you'll see him intimidating players with the way that he tries to bomb directly at them and win the ball back. Absolutely love that aggression in his game.
Yeah, it's certainly a feature of Sheku Kamara playing sweeper keeper as he usually does. Trying to hit Van Dorn, just manages to keep it in. Now turn up, calls for pushing the back against Sunday McKinnon, but not given there, and a quick throw in taken. A few yards stolen there from Iski Van Dorn. Looking towards Hugh Sloot. Now Sanders over the back is Sunday. the chef, Ryan Cook, in for company. And just to get a toe in and also
Well done.
uses his body well there on Sunday to win the throw in.
Well, it is his day of the week.
It is. He's correctly turned up on the right day today.
Which we always love to see from the lad. One of my favourite Colt stories of the NPL, Taz, as it's heaved into the box here by, I think, Van Dorn. Headed away by Thomas. Extraordinary! Oh! Sklenage. New beast.
Sklenage clearly watching a bit of Gareth Bale this morning in the Champions League final there, going for a very good invitation there, and he got good purchase on it, but right down the throat of Kieran Brown. Zebras not too discouraged by that early goal to South Hobart, still attacking. Jaden Hay all over the back of Adam Gorry. He held his body well there. It's South Hobart's favourite ranger, and Jaden Hay gave away the throw-in as we have another look at this effort. Flick on header, unintentional there from Oscar Thomas. And Sklenage,
Pretty decent technique.
with a very good technique. It's certainly not off the shin a la Wayne Rooney. It was very good technique.
Much more like Gareth Bale this morning. That was a fantastic goal, and Sklenage not too far away. As Hugh Ludford rolls it across to Oscar Thomas. Would have been a fair way to get back in the contest and square things up from Jakob Sklenage, and certainly the way they've lined up. They can't be too deterred by one early goal because they're backing themselves in to score a few this way, and this could be an absolute firefight. Here's Jaden Hay, who looks to swing it wide for the run of McEwen. That was tracked down and worked to Ludford. Feral TV in the middle, across to Connor Schmidt. Schmidt scrapping away there. Now McEwen out in front of Sklenage, looks to glide inside. This is opening up for the Zebras here. Sanders let it run. Oh, just let it run too far ahead of him. Had Hughesloot on the inside if he could have worked it to him. But some openings being created at the back early on here for the Zebras.
Yeah, Sanders, I don't think he knew Adam Gorry was coming in from the blind side there. Wanted to let it run across his body and doing exactly what all good fullbacks should do there. Adam Gorry covering the centre backs as Walter looks to Deveki Marins. Oh, lovely nutmeg there from the Brazilian. He's absolutely sending Jordy Muller for anything there. He absolutely is. A shirt pull, still can't get away with it. Didn't end up too much there to Deveki Marins. Very good for the highlight reel, and that one from the chef Ryan Cook, probably not going to go on the highlight reel. Right to Sheku Kamara, who's not going to look short this time. Just launches that one right down the throat of Feral TV. Hughesloot wins the header, and in behind is Sunday McCune. Got the wrong side of the chef's going to hit first time, and Kieran Brown saves rather well.
Good body work from Cook there to just be strong without giving away the foul there. He had the benefit of the position of his body and just really managed to squeeze the angle there for McEwen and force a tame shot in the end. As we see, a great competition there from Morthog. Gets the ball out wide. Brilliant flick there from Walter to Gorry. Nearly put in a beautiful ball there for Deveki Marins, but just a little bit too much on that. In that dangerous zone between keeper and the centre-backs there. Great cross from Gorry.
Yeah, great use of just obviously Riley Dillon. As we look back at Deveki Marins on that lovely nutmeg on Julie Muller. Rolled him down the river with that one. But just before, using the fact that Riley Dillon's pretty much brand new to the team there, and the communication with Hay not quite established, and helped enable that dummy run, letting Gorry in. But we'll see what they can do from the throw-in on the far corner. Back to Oleg Farrell. Now to Deveki Marins. Lovely 1-2 with Jack Turner. He's in on goal here, and Deveki Marins sends the South Hobart crowd into raptures. The Brazilian star gets on the score sheet already.
Well, they focused on the offense with how they've lined up. They might want to start focusing on the defense because they are being torn apart here at the back by South Hobart early. It's 2-0. The brilliant Brazilian now has his say. And this could be a very long day indeed for the visitors if they don't clamp down on this fella, Deveki Marins. That was all too easy. He strolls in, slides it to the far corner, and South threatening to run away with it early on.
I don't want to be too hypercritical of the goalkeeping there, but maybe a little bit of a left foot, more futsal-esque David De Gea type save from Kamara there. Might have got a bit of a stronger piece of his body onto it, but that's 2-0 already to South Hobart, and they really don't have to play terribly attacking from here on. They can A more conservative game style and really keep this one in the bag. Kamara chased down from Morton immediately. Point Farrell to Turner. To Deveki Marins. He's really finding his rhythm here today already at Darcy Street. Good sliding challenge. Now Connor Schmidt. That's the first time that'll roll out harmlessly for a goal kick.
They really are threatening at the back, aren't they? I'm not seeing a lot of work so far from Sklanage and Sanders to be helping out Geordie Muller in defence. So you're just finding that this South Hobart midfield is overwhelming them.
Yeah, it's having two focal number 9s is two sort of other centre mids is an interesting tactic as Ludford launches that one into the sky. Deveki Marins with a beautiful touch and quad turn. Jack Turner nearly in on goal. And well cleared eventually from Iski Van Dorn, who I don't think has played a lot of defence in his life, but he's pretty much the only Zebras defender today.
Take a bow to Deveki Marins. What a touch that was, and the swift little back heel onto Jack Turner running through. It was extraordinary. I really wish that had been pulled off just for the highlight reel. Extraordinary stuff, but South really starting to control possession here. Showing a little bit of inexperience in the midfield there. Maybe Sklanage is well held onto by Connor Schmidt. Morthog finds him in the channel. Gets his head up, crosses in. Well dealt with there by Iski Van Dorn. Probably been their best defender so far. Very natural position there from Sanders. So Copra just allows that one to keep running. Van Dorn now gets his head up and there's a little pocket of space for Sklanage. Shot there, but going well right from Hooksley.
Yeah, it's a good passage of play, working it from one end to the other for the Zebras. We have a look at this touch and turn again from Deveki Marins. Takes that one out of the sky. Sees Jack Turner running. Lovely cross turn pass into his path. And won't get the final finish.
Jeez, that's like my head hitting the pillow when that ball just landed on his foot. It was soft touch. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Like as Jack Turner.
Done for analogies there, Paul.
Completely done for analogies there. He's taking my breath away here today, Deveki Marins, as that one goes out to Adam Gorry. Looks to the chip through ball down the channel. Deveki Marins locates it well in front of Harutsa. Deveki Marins tries to flick it up, step over, and gets past Riley Dillon for company, who then pretty much rugby tackles him from behind.
Oh, and he has a little word to him, does Riley Dillon. As if you keep doing this to me, I will kick you.
I've got to be honest, I feel a bit sorry for Riley Dillon. I don't think he knew what he was getting into today by joining a defence that isn't really a defence.
He's cynical challenge, really. He's just had a kick out at the back leg there, so I wouldn't be surprised if Copra just has a word to him after that one. Gets right in his face too. Yeah, certainly, judging by the scoreboard, it's really backed up.
Yeah, more of a rugby tackle, that one, than a football one. As Adam Gorry swings in the cross, it's headed away by Geordie Muller. Gorry first to the ball, Adam McEwen in close proximity. Now Ludford comes across, sweeps it forward to Jack Turner. Slightly heavy touch allowed in. Iski Van Dorn. Sanders in tight confines, surrounded, did well. And then eventually coughed it up, now falls to the Morthog. Fakes the pass and then works it out to Alex Walter. He'll want to cut in onto his right here. Walter, he glides inside, he chips it. And he deflects up, out of play for a corner. South doing the bulk of the attacking here and really putting the pressure on this makeshift Zebras defence.
The midfield's getting overwhelmed at the moment, I think, the Zebras. When you've got class like Farrell, Morton and Turner operating in the midfield, it's dangerous. As the big shot comes in from Cook, playing at left back today. He's just whacked it clean over the top, but looks like this corner's going to actually be retaken again there. And it is quickly. Deveki Marins curls it into the back stick. Headed straight back across goal for some inexplicable reason, but Kamara gathers there and just gives a bit of a barge to get the Turner out of his way there. And they're going to try and get it moving again quickly here, the Zebs. Got Dillon here on the left-hand side. He's got Sanders up over the top if he can chip it. Hay in short. Hay looks to Sanders, but he's looking to get in behind and well cut out there from Oscar Thomas. Deveki Marins gets stuck in and intercepts it well again. He's got Morton out on the other side, looking to go himself, just leaves the ball behind. Gets his head back up, support from Connor Schmidt. Plays the 1-2. Back to Connor Schmidt. Comes out wide here to the Morthog. He's looking to shoot there for a second, but well closed down. Turner now competing hard with Sanders, who just gives him a bit of the chicken wingding there and gives away a free kick.
Very good body work there from Jack Turner. Actually didn't quite take that first touch as he wanted to, but made sure he kept his body between the opposition player and the ball to win the free kick. And you could just see before when Deveki Marines was running in on goal, drew all the attention of the Zebras defenders, had 3 of them surrounding him. And that's one other impact he can have, is just drawing all the opposition defenders, as we've got Morton and Cook over this free kick. I reckon Nick Morton will like the look of this one. On the right peg, and it's exactly what Morton does, but right into the wall. Headed clear, and now Robinson is able to get that one down the line. Hugh Sloot pressuring Ludford. With a hurried clearance there from the South Hobart centre back. Now towards Hugh Sloot. Flicks it on. Looking for Sunday, but nothing given there now. Morton, a sliding challenge in from Van Dorn. Not afraid to get stuck in. Here's the Calgary Flyer. Hugh Sloot using his body well. Just to win the throw.
Big Ben launching it down the line for McEwen, who does well to weave in the tight confines. Now Luke Hughes Sloot trying to curl it towards Sanders. That one was repelled. Jack Turner dwells on the ball for a moment. Now across to Feral TV. Alex Walter skips past Riley Dillon and now looks to thread it through for the overlapping Gorry, but with some serious wheels. Tracking back was Jaden Hay.
He has bailed Riley Dillon out there, and is should be very happy there with Jaden Hay, Riley Dillon.
Very alert to the dangers. The Morthog picks it up in the middle of the park. There's 2 Zebras for company. Gave it to Turner, just gave it right back. Just let it get away from it a little, but he still tracked it down, did Morton. And he's got back on it here, combining with Turner. Turner has Cook riding shotgun with him. Van Dorn slides, and I think that's going to deflect last off Cook and be a goal kick for Sheka Kamara. 17 minutes gone in the first half here at Darcy Street. And the hosts sitting pretty with a 2-goal advantage. The Zebras needing to find a spark from somewhere. Kamara will launch them along in the Hugh Sloot direction, but getting in front of him was Connor Schmidt. Here's Alex Walter. He'll retreat back to Kieran Brown. He's been largely a spectator thus far.
I'm not sure if Ken Morton caught wind that Hugh Sloot was going to be starting up front, but I've noticed that he's put Connor Schmidt and Luke Farrell as both holding midfielders to negate both of them. So good piece of work there from the Silver Fox in being flexible with his tactics and still letting Morton and Becky Marines run right, as it's a good battle down on the far side there, and Ryan Cook gets his body in between the ball and the player and wins the free kick there. He's done exceptionally well to speed out the pace of Sunday McEwen.
So around the grounds, Olympia take an early lead up in the North over Rangers. Eduardo Castaneda putting them ahead after 10 minutes.
Pretty small ground up there, is it?
A big one actually, Walks.
Must have been a free.
There's Kieran Brown, launches it in the Deveki direction, but he's always going to be monstered in the air by Big Ben Robinson. Hughley cleverly flicks on for Sunday McEwen. Went the first time volley, might turn to a good pass for Hay, but Kieran Brown dives out in front of it, and Jaden Hay just was sensing a chance to go full Benzema there for a second and just poached that one, but couldn't quite get his foot on it. This one smacked in the Walter direction, and that one will be out of play.
Was that all right with that error? I think it was.
No, you've not watched the game this morning, Morgs. You've missed one of the highlights of the year. Half-time viewing for you, my friend. Karen Benzema. I'm sure the Liverpool fans out there really enjoying this recap.
Oh, we haven't dared mention the goalkeeping situation yet as Sanders launches that one down the line, but Ludford.
If Real Madrid and Liverpool both can't lose, what is the point in watching the game? As we see, Gorry just getting stuck in there, tracking back against Jaden Hay as we return to the real game.
I don't particularly disagree with your point, but you know, it's a game of enough standing to worth watch.
4:30.
Sinkhole could have opened up in Kiev, you never know. No, it was well worth getting up. It was a cracking game, and let's hope that Zebras can fight back and make this one similarly entertaining affair because it's all south at the moment. Luke Farrell, he got confused and just left it for Morton, who thought Farrell was going to go. Morton picks it back up and powers them on, then chips it over the top looking for the runner, Deveki Marines. He gets goal side of Robinson, who gets himself into all trouble. Oh, not adjudged to a foul there, Big Ben. I thought it might have been chiming midnight there for a second, but he gets away with it. And Harutza knocks this one across to Iski Van Dorn. Bombing on here, the Canadian. He's got plenty of players up in attack if he can pick one out. He found only Hugh Ludford. And he launches that back down the pitch towards Deveki. Beaten by Robinson, using his size and strength. Across to Iski Van Dorn. And his cross blocked off by Feral TV.
Tell you what, if Deveki Marines pulled that off, I would have had to whip out that infamous Dennis Burkamp commentary after that one with the flick around and the shielding of the defender.
Spilled the ball. Frank the ball. Spilled the ball.
So McKill tries to get through a South Hobart sandwich there, but well cleared and deflected, and eventually the giraffe legs of Oscar Thomas will get that one clear. Iski Van Dorn and Geordie Miller not quite combining as effectively as they wanted to there on the far side. We have a replay. Deveki Marines just gets the flick around, and he's not particularly looking at the ball there. Here's the defender. There's possibly something in it, but he didn't put up too much of a fuss. Did the striker, as that one's launched down the line in the Morthog direction, who does wonderfully to get around Robinson. Gorry storming in at the back post. That one's left short. For Deveki Marines. Huge Sloot controls that one well against Ludford. Like Farrell covering across. Now Geordie Muller. Now to Iski Van Dorn. Now Hugh Sloot, who manages to pick out Connor Schmidt expertly there, but it's the opposition. That's a shank clearance in the end from Oscar Thomas. Good back heel from Sklenage, but
well done,
Thomas
Oscar.
manages to read that one well. Now Riley Dillon. Out wide to Iski Van Dorn, who's got a lot of tall timber up there, and it's going right down the throat nearly of Kieran Brown. And in the end, that's a missed header to the Colonel Sanders at the back post. Have a look at the replay. You would have thought that's down the keeper's throat.
A little bit of hand of God there. Attempt from our man Colonel Sanders out there, I think, with the fist just going up there.
Clean missed that. You wouldn't expect it to get past that tall timber in front of you. So really a chance there for Zebras, and they have looked a bit more comfortable the last 10 minutes.
Going into it, Sklenage also almost with a great unintentional header into the back of the net there. He didn't know a thing about it. Too far away. Deveki Marines couldn't get around Riley Dillon, who works it forward in the Hugh Sloot direction, outpointed by Thomas on this occasion. Muller up against Jack Turner, two the best midfielders in the comp going head-to-head there. Here's Dillon, showed some awareness. No, the threat was over his shoulder. Then makes Harutza work for it. Now Shek Kamara. They negotiate their way through it well enough. Iski Van Dorn down the right. Wants someone to come at him. Eventually Sklenage presented, but it was Feral TV getting a foot in. And South get back on the ball through the Morthog Morton. Couldn't get around Iski Van Dorn though. He's won it back nicely and then goes past a defender. Iski Van Dorn. He's got Hugh Ludford for company. Van Dorn puts the cross in for Hugh Sloot. Stuck his leg out and couldn't quite direct it home. Behind it goes for a corner, but better signs here from the Zebras.
Yeah, a lot better signs from the Hobart Zebras as they Hugh Sloot only just missing getting a toe to that one. Unfortunately, one of the Zebras players is down on the far side. Looks like
Van Dorn.
It is Van Dorn. I want to see the Calgary fly down for any longer than necessary. Looks like he's just copped one. A bit winded there. As play will resume. Jaden Hay launching that one into the middle. Hugh Sloot getting up. Great keeping from Kieran Brown. Put immediately back into the box, but Luke Farrell will get there. Geordie Muller and Jaden Hay chase it down. Oh, and that's a great challenge there from Morton on Harutza. Riley Dillon mops up well. Now Van Dorn. Don't think he quite hit that one as he wanted to. Sklenage makes the most of it. Sanders couldn't quite pick out Hay. Now Muller. Jack Turner going up for it. Elbows from both players there. Play will continue despite the possible head injury down on the field. Cropper is still letting play go and eventually will pull that one up. As you probably should with head injuries, or potential head injuries. Muller staying down after that collision with Turner.
Getting back to his feet. At least sitting up now, Geordie Miller copped a decent whack. Elbow in the back of the head there, I reckon. Done the damage.
I reckon you're about right there.
Good impression of Marwan Fellaini there from the South player.
A little bit, flailing the elbows around. Watch out with those ones. And Geordie Muller come off second best. And we hope that he'll be right to continue because he's clearly a vital player in this Zebras team. The way they're setting up today, so much is going to fall on Geordie Muller running this midfield. He has got a huge role to play with all the attackers they've got out there. Van Dorn to McEwen. McEwen for Sklenage, works it to Hughesloop, back to the Czech Cobra, across now for Riley Dillon, the debutant. That was shut down, now he chips it in towards Hughesloop, well away by Ludford. Jaden Hay with the throw, took it quickly to Sanders, looked to put the pressure on Ludford. Hughesloop sliding in, Walter with a good foot ahead of Dillon, and now Nick Morton. And he chips it into the path of Deveki Marins. He's got the speed. Robinson was there, and Kamara a little hesitant initially to come out for that.
I initially thought that he should have come immediately and almost just allowed Deveki Marins to cause more trouble than he probably should have there. Great header away there from Ludford, but that only falls to Sklenage. He finds Hay in a pocket of space. Great ball across. Is it an own goal? Not quite. Just over the top there from Ludford. But it was a challenge that he had to make because I believe that Sanders was there to tap in. So good defending there in the end from Hugh Ludford, but the margins between good defending and poor can be very fine.
Absolutely a crucial toe in there from the Warhorse Hugh Ludford. Hugh Ludford, I should say. Don't know where I got that G from. He's trying across to take the corner is Colonel Sanders. He's got all his tall timber. Up in the box, goes towards the back post. Hay and Sklenage there waiting. Another bicycle attempt. Ends up being a pretty good touch and it's nearly rolled in from Jakob Sklenage. Just the wrong side of the post. A couple of Zebras fans in the crowd thought that one was in the back of the net. Just trickling wide from Jakob Sklenage.
We'll have a look at the replay of that in a second, but I think you probably should score that one.
He had more time.
He had more time than he thought there. He was in a bit of a pocket of space, but now it's going to be South on the attack again, and they just give the ball away, fortunately, for the Zebras, who probably in the last 10 minutes have started to grow into the game a little bit more.
I think this is more what Gabby Marquez was expecting as Sklenage gives the ball away to Deveki Marins in a dangerous situation. Bailed out by his centre-back, Turner nearly winning the header against Horutza. Now Riley Dillon launches that one in the Hughesloop direction. Walter clears that one. Turner beat out by Horutza. Turner gets it back again. South Hobart will build up through the back. And Ludford into Loic Faralu. Unnecessarily misplaces that one to Oscar Thomas, but Zebras aren't keen on the high press as much today. So Oscar Thomas launches that one in the Cook direction.
It's really interesting what they're doing with their shape today, South Hobart in particular, because the Zebras have largely stuck with what they've done at the start, but I'm starting to look like Connor Schmidt's gone back out to that left-hand side. Oh, they're in here, the Zebs, and it's been played through. Is it Iski Van Dorn? No, it's Sunday McEwen. He's got two in the middle. He crosses, but only as far as Gorry. That was a big chance there. Jaden Hay at the back stick there was probably going to be unmarked if he put in the right ball.
Just seemed a little slow off the mark there for me, McEwen. Just seemed like he was running in quicksand for a second there and just needed to knock it out in front of him, chase it down. They had them outnumbered at the back, but the Zebras really starting to grow into this game now. Unfortunately, their first 10 minutes means they've got a mountain to climb and they've got to rein in this deficit first. 2-0 the score is going to make things very tough for them, but we have another look at this Sklenage chance from earlier ago, the second bicycle of the game, and Sklenage takes a touch and hits it on the turn, and a couple of legs maybe had pretty fine margins.
Harder chance than I probably gave him credit for on that first look there. Jakob Sklenage, there were two bodies in between him and the goal, so
small window, wasn't it?
Very small. As we see them getting into a dangerous spot here, South Hobart, but the returner just gives the ball away there. quite lazily in the end. Probably could have done a little bit more with that. Wasn't under a great deal of pressure, but this man, Nick Morton's been playing an interesting role today, almost a striker at some point.
Oh, hello.
Oh, here we go.
Well, this could be one of the shortest debuts in the history of the NPL Tasmania. Riley Dillon.
He has fair crash tackled Nick Morton there and really did not like that challenge. And that is just absolutely not what you want to see from a debutant player.
That is one of the more interesting moves
It's
I've seen in
lunacy.
the NPL. It's a foul from behind. He's come up, taken him by the neck and just rugby tackled him to the ground and only gets a slice of cheese for that. That is a very interesting interpretation of that.
He's given him a blood nose. Nick Morton is on the ground bleeding from the nose. He's been fair spear tackled there. And I think that is a pretty fair question as to why that would not be a red. And he is seething down there too, Dylan, but that was...
The
Look,
South Hobart bench are ropeable.
The only way you can describe that is that was a stupid and violent challenge.
So let's have a look. Morton initially, yep, that's a foul.
It's a
No
foul.
doubt, but the reaction, you can't be doing... You can't be doing that. And I don't know how he's still on the park, to be honest.
How on earth is he still on the park? Riley Dillon is one of the more interesting debuts in NPL history. That is something out of WWE, and for somehow Gabriel Marcos wants to have a chat with the referee about that, pointing the finger. He should just be thankful his team's got 11 men on the park.
If I was Gab, I'd be counting my lucky stars. That one is a red card every day of the week there for
I
Dillon.
don't understand how that can't be graded as violent conduct.
I can't understand how it's not 3 weeks, but anyway, he takes the free kick, heads towards the back post. Absolute nearly gets it. Jordy Muller with a drive and great leg out there from Ludford. Now Horutza broken down from Connor Schmidt. And wouldn't that be the worst piece of luck in the world if that was a goal indeed for Zebras?
Great block from Hugh Ludford here. This was well hit from Jordy Muller. Fizzer, but just at his positioning, stretches out the leg as the corner's swung in by Sanders. Brown opts to punch. It's Jordy Muller. Volleyed it straight into Ludford, and now Cook on the breakout for South Hobart. Can they hurt them back the other way? He's got Turner bursting through the middle. Instead he went for Deveki Marins, and Iski Van Dorn had that cut off easily.
Got to go to Turner there and put the pressure on the man that's just been yellow carded. But play continues. Luke Hoogsley tries to chip it over the top to Hay. Only as far as Walter. He plays a 1-2 with Gorry. Gets it inside to Feral TV, who's played quite a good game today, but just giving the ball away. A bit more Darren the dog there, if we're going with Feral TV. Iski Van Dorn gets his head up. Sunday McEwen, a good pocket of space here, but Connor Schmidt, who's moved out to that left-back position, is well with him. Not really moving too quickly here, are they, Paul Funk?
No, they're really not. As I'm enjoying the constant booing of Riley Dillon as soon as he gets a touch. Known as a bit of a prawn sandwich brigade here, they unfairly get called sometimes South Hobart. I'm thoroughly enjoying that as Robinson lays it back to Horutza.
Well, look, if you make your debut on the home ground of the champions and whack their star player, that's the spirit.
Right into the back.
And they love
crowd
it,
love that.
There's a bit of fire in the NPL Taz today, and we're loving it.
We made sure he got him there. And that's where they're going to need to be careful. They don't boil over here, South Hobart, and get sucked into them going down to 10 men. Because, yep, the opposition should beat. They're not. You need to just soldier on and take care of the result here as Nick Morton's about to come back onto the pitch to a hero's reception, no doubt. And he's got the claret cleaned up. And Morton will be reintroduced now. And the Darcy Show crowd very much getting into it. It's a good atmosphere here today. It was a big occasion and really a fired-up crowd after that incident a couple of moments ago. Ludford chips it down the line looking for Waltos again.
Yeah.
Trying to work over Dillon.
If we go back to the decision, rules aside for a second, the referee hasn't ruined the game perhaps by not sending the player off, but we just lay the rules to one side.
From the pundit's perspective, a fantastic result.
Yeah.
From following the rule book, that was probably handball from Walter. He seemed to play a forehand, but play allowed to continue. Jaden Hay now. And Gorry smashing that one and trying to claim the deflection, and it does get the corner.
Playing with a bit of dog today, aren't they, South Hobart, which is what you like to see because it's a real element that the top teams have to bring to the game sometimes. That confidence and desire to exceed as we see the wounded Morton get a left ball in. Oh! nearly from Deveki Marines, diving header. What a wonderful ball there from Nick Morton, whose blow to the face hasn't seemed to have affected his ability to play the football.
I mean,
he's a beautiful left-footed cross.
He's in such rich form, Deveki Marines. You would expect him to score there. I don't think he was expecting it to dip so much, otherwise he probably would have elected to go with the feet rather than the head, but Sanders flicks on to Hugh Sloot, and Deveki Marines possibly should have scored that one. We do set a pretty high standard for him, especially after his last month of performances, as Hugh Sloot gets it to the Colonel. Now to Riley Dillon. Hoofs that one in the Oscar Thomas direction. And does just enough there, Jaden Hay. Sanders doesn't quite save the throw in. 2 minutes left in a fiery first half here at Darcy Street. Adam Gorry just looking at Morton and Riley Dillon, having a quick conversation there, asking how each other are going. Exchanging phone numbers for a catch-up afterwards, I would assume, as Walter back to Gorry. Back up into the sky, good call from Harutza. Lloyd Farrell struggling to get the ball down on the deck at the moment.
I think the real issue is how is the Mortog going to sniff out the truffle of the ball now with the nose blocked?
I think he'll let his feet do the talking, as he so often does. He'll compete here. Geordie Muller boxed him out pretty well, up and under, off the shoulder of Turner. Shielding the ball was Morton, then slides it for Turner. This is good flowing football across from Gorry to the back post.
It's got to be a free.
Flattened into after he crossed. Play continues. Cook and Iski Van Dorn dueling there on the left wing, wanting to get back onto his right is Cook, and he just runs into a little bit of trouble in Sunday McEwen, who wins it back. And now the break could be on for the Zebras if they play this right. Sanders, Gorry storming back, and he's got the leg speed, Adam Gorry. And Sanders knew that and just took a little tumble, and he'll get a throw in.
Did you see the little pat on the back there too from Gorry, just congratulating Sanders about letting that break really slide there for the Zebras. I like the cheekiness there from the right back.
Not really the player you want in that scenario. He's the one you want on the end of the move. As Luke Hughes-Sloot turning at the top of the box. Fell to Morton, played it into the path of Jack Turner. Deveki wants it out in front of him. He's got a foot race here against Ben Robinson, who wins it and smacks it out of play. Or it will stay in perhaps for Sunday McEwen. Oh, he's done really well. McEwen gets in behind, cuts it back for Sklenage, but Alex Walter tracked inside.
He's been playing right wing all day there, and that is great defensive awareness from Alex Walter. Good job, young son, to be helping out the defence there.
I'm also noticing South Hobart are pretty much keeping Morton and Deveki Marines in their attacking half at all times here, just leaving two players up constantly, having a back four and then letting the other four defend where necessary. Morton yelling out instructions towards
something I've definitely noticed too, but we seem to get moments of excitement when we try to talk about it. Morton's in, he's going to want to score. He's got Turner. Morton, just blazes over the top there.
I was looking forward to a trademark.
There would have been a good celebration for that one, wouldn't there, boys?
We calling during the week for a few more celebrations here in NPL Tas, and that would have been a ripper. As Hugh Sloot and Thomas go at it again. Great flick on header. Sanders can't quite get that to Connor Schmidt, who's now at his third position for the day. Sanders appealing for the free kick. Advantage paid. Manages to stay on side. Sklenage is in here if they can get to it. Jaden Hay! Kieran Brown with the foot save. Done exceptionally well there. You would put your house on Jaden Hay scoring there. Riley Dillon. Back to Sanders. Now to Iski Van Dorn, who lines one up, and that's well deflected.
Look, it's tough for me to decide whether the shot was poor or the keeping was good there, because I think it was a pretty tame effort in the end for Jaden Hay, who pretty much had a tap in. He could have put that one fast stick and just straight down the throat of the keeper there, really.
Yeah, both
fortunate there for the Zebras.
Both decent save, but Hay, he's got the whole other half of the net to just strike that one in. Couldn't do so. Long throw towards Hugh Sloot, didn't quite reach him, and Connor Schmidt volleys away. But when you're the Zebras 2-0 down in a game just before half-time, that's the type of chance you've simply got to take.
We're pretty much seeing Nick Morton really operate as a second striker today, aren't we, guys?
Yeah, he's playing a much more advanced role as Robinson again goes in the Hugh Sloot direction, and again doesn't have enough mustard to reach him. And Dawn and Deveki, the two imports, scrapping away there, back into the middle. Jaden Hay will go back to Dillon. No boos this time. The crowd just losing the energy temporarily. As Harutza plays it wide. Building here through Sklenage, but it eluded him. He was checked a little though, and the free kick will be blown in their favour. 5 minutes left in the half. Can the Zebras pull one back and get themselves something to chase here in the second half? Van Dorn. McEwen. Sent it down the line for Sklenage. He left it behind. It was only Connor Schmidt there, and he wins the throw-in for his side.
Done very well there on the far side.
Just a bit of the heat
Connor
starting to peter out in the last couple of minutes here, isn't it, boys, as we get towards half-time. They've had a few chances, though, the Zebs, haven't they?
They really have, and the interesting thing about that Riley Dillon incident is that they had all the momentum before that, the Zebras, and that sort of really put them on the back foot. They're not as free-flowing as they were before, as we see the worst rule in football there being reenacted once again, with the throw-in that not going in and you get another chance. Sanders to Geordie Muller. We'll probably have to retreat backwards here a bit. Now to Harutza, just misplaces that to Robinson, who gets a toe in nonetheless. Walter skips around Sanders. Huge loop for Company, now the long ball to Deveki Marins. Down the left-hand side, he's got Morton for Company in the box. Keeps it in. Van Dorn up against him, uses his body well, and it really takes the second defender and then eventually thumped clear towards Sunday McEwen. And the chef, Ryan Cook.
A little bit disappointed there that Turner opted to get into the box rather than come short and help Deveki Marins out there. Just perhaps showing a little bit of greed rather than doing the team thing there. But Jaden Hayes in over the top. A good starting position there from Brown means that he can just hang on to the ball for a little bit and really force the Zebs to come at him a little bit more.
Just what else I'm noticing here, Jakob Sklenage is about the 6th deepest player for the Zebras. The Golden Boot winner from the last year. And he's really retreating into that centre defensive midfield role as we just see him get on the bowl there. And it's not where I'd personally play him unless it's, 90th minute cup time, you're trying to hold on to a lead. And it's interesting to put him up there as Riley Dillon. Gabby Marquez really yelling, imploring his players to move on. And the South Hobart crowd thoroughly enjoying that one. It's Dillon. Yep. Towards Hugh Sloot.
But he certainly could have moved into that space a little quicker, perhaps tried to draw Gorry forwards to him, which could have then opened up the space in behind. So Gabby Marquez is probably absolutely right to tell him to get moving. But a great interception here from Walters is wasted by a poor first touch. It'll be another Zebras ball. But yeah, certainly just feeling the burn a little bit at the moment down there.
Someone's launched along to Sunday. Can't quite turn. And Alex Walters steals that one off him. Dereki Marins tries to touch that one to himself instead of tracking the ball. Chooses to have a quick argument with Brenton Copper, who wasn't having a bar of it. Sklenage trying to find Sanders. Cleared by Schmidt. Now Morton. Interesting interpretation of a clearance there from Ben Robinson. Balls to Deveki Marins. Adam Gorry's in an acre of space on the grandstand side here. Deveki Marins looking to go himself. Gets on the left foot now to Morton. Calls for offside. And eventually heated there from the referee on the grandstand side.
I love Gorry so much. I really do. I love Gorry because the way that he just drew Dillon out of the central area there by pushing wide, that was just such intelligent play. Really good stuff, and it could have just about opened up the opportunity there for South Hobart. So you've got to give players credit that are intelligent enough to do that.
Iski Van Dorn takes over in attack for the Zebras. Can they conjure something before the half-time break? Sklenage to Hugh Sloot, back to Jakob Sklenage. What a save here at Brown, and Sanders plays his wide. But how about the save from Brown? You won't see better than that.
David Seaman-like, incredible, gets the right palm out and just slaps that one away. Have a look at that for a second time. That is one for the highlights reel, boys.
A fair freeze frame,
that's
that
one for Mitzi Medal Night, I reckon. That is an absolute corker there from Brown.
They must have had that Nico Giansopoulos video on repeat from last week and tried to mimic it. That is a wonderful save from Kieran Brown.
Strong hand.
The challenger emerges for Nico, who's probably got the top 3 saves here at the moment. Kieran Brown says, I'm just going to insert myself into this conversation, and keeps his team with the 2-goal buffer. And Zebras 2 big chances they've been unable to take here as the half's developed, and this field 2-1 is a big difference going to the sheds with that goal in your pocket rather than going in 2-0 down.
Yeah, from a psychological point of view, that's really going to help South Hobart in this half. As Copper wants to have a quick discussion here with the Colonel Sanders. But that save from Kieran Brown is absolutely outstanding. As we look again, Jacob Sklenarge, I mean, he's done well to get enough power on that shot. And then right there, that palm from Kieran Brown.
Strong
and exactly,
hand.
if it's not strong enough, Sanders is just going to tap that in as well. So he's got enough on it. As that one's launched towards Sheku Kamara. He's probably going to have to use his hands for that one to stop it running out of play for a goal kick. Now Harutza to Geordie Muller, who didn't read that one particularly well. And that is one of the more obvious yellow cards you will ever see there from Geordie Muller. And to be fair, it's probably one taking it for the team there. He inflicted it on himself.
Yeah, not that angry about that really, because he didn't play that poor pass, and then at the end of the day, you're better off copying a yellow card there than being 3-0 down at the main break. I mean,
yeah,
that is
a professional foul there.
Yeah,
from Geordie
professional
Muller.
foul, and fair enough from him because he got sold out a little bit
by himself. Yeah, a slice of cheese there that he's probably had to take there, Geordie Muller. Yeah, it looks like Ryan Cook's looking over this one. Magic spray in use from Brenton Copra. There's a hush descends over the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy
I think
Street.
Mortog fancies himself on this one, I think.
That would be a shock. He dummies that one to Morton, who chips that one in the path of Turner, but he's offside, unfortunately. There is Jack Turner, quickly taken towards Muller.
Oh dear.
And he's again sold his team short there. Morton, a pretty ambitious hit that indicates he'd probably rather be in the sheds by the way he's kicked that one away.
Yeah, that was some pretty gross football there for a second, I have to say, boys. It wasn't.
Was a hint of, crap 90s football Twitter page there, I think, there for a second.
The big long chip ball, the volley that wasn't quite executed, and offside, followed by a pretty poor turnover, but they've had plenty more to offer us in this first half, both of these sides. The brilliance of that Kieran Brown save and a couple of good goals for South Hobart as well. But that Riley Dillon challenge, this man, he's certainly not endeared himself to the home fans as he shields the ball well against Nick Morton. Robinson now, Taveki Marins closing in like he does.
Took an awkward bobble there for a second.
While we're referencing old English keepers, that was shades of Paul Robinson about to happen there with that bobble in the middle of the field. Glenage out to Van Dorn. We've already had 2.5 minutes of stoppage time here.
What is it about English keepers?
Who knows? That one's down the line. Schmidt intercepts that one well. Simon McKeown Sanders was worried about staying on side, but the free kick given, and as we tick into the third minute of added time here. And one last chance for Zebras.
Almost want them to get this one, just so we've got a bit more going into this second half, I think.
Yeah, I think the game could certainly use a Zebras goal before the break. They've had two fantastic opportunities to pull one back too. The first one, Jaden Hay firing a bit too centrally. And the second one, just absolute top draw keeping from Kieran Brown. He's got perhaps one more test to pass before they can head into the sheds. It's Colonel Sanders over the ball. He sends it to the back post. Harutza is there. Gorry just nods it out of play, but the half-time whistle is blown by Copra. And it's South Hobart who struck hard and struck early to take a 2-0 lead. Some magic from Kieran Brown helped them maintain it. The big flashpoint of that half, Riley Dillon going all WWE on us and channeling John Cena there for a second. He stayed on the pitch though, and Zebras showed enough as the half wore on to suggest we've got a game in at the second half if they can just pull one back and get themselves back in the contest. But at the moment, South holding sway, and have another look at that. And just a yellow card for that one, gentlemen.
Yeah, I was actually looking at Jack Turner, absolutely giving Brenton Copper an earful, and there's actually a few South Hobart players over there, with the match manager having to get involved. It's a very spicy first half here, almost as spicy as an L&B chicken tender.
obscure there. I like it, Paul.
We've
But
got,
gotta
we've
pay
got Colonel
attention.
Sanders playing in this game, and you go down that avenue.
Hey, I'm going down the L&B of the front shirt sponsor.
It's a Tasmanian favourite.
It is a Tasmanian favourite.
I love that place at 1 a.m.
I love it any time of the day.
Well, clearly we're out of nonsense to talk for the first half. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time to see if Zebras can mount the fight back or whether South will take another stride towards their recovery in season 2018. A big second 45 coming up on the other side of half-time.
Knee high.
Yeah, Taz, as it's heaved into the box here by, I think, Van Dorn. Headed away by Thomas. Extraordinary! Oh! Splanage.
Yeah, too discouraged by that early goal to South Hobart. Still attacking Jaden Hay all over the back. And Adam Gorry.
It's a glide inside. This is opening up for the Zebras here. Sanders let it run. Oh, just let it run too far ahead of him. Had Hugh Sloot on the inside if he could have worked it.
To do there, Adam Gorry, covering the centre backs. Walter to Deveki Marins. Oh, lovely nutmeg there from the Brazil. Hugh Sloot wins the header and in behind is Sunday McCune got the wrong side and the Chef's going to hit first time and Brown saves rather well.
Good bodywork from that competition there from Mortholt. Gets the ball out wide. Brilliant flick there from Walter to Gorry. Really put in a beautiful ball there for the Becky Marines. But just
Colleague Farrell. The Becky Marines. Lovely 1-2 with Jack Turner. He's in on goal here. The Becky Marines. Sends the South Hobart crowd interactions. The Brazilian star gets on the score sheet already.
Well, they focused on the offense with how they've lined up. They might want to start focusing on the defense because they are being...
Darcy Street, good sliding challenge. Now Connor Schmidt. First time that'll roll out harmlessly for a goal kick.
they really are.
Launches that one into the sky. Becky Marines with a beautiful touch and quad turn. Jack Turner nearly in on goal. Well clear. Becky Marines tries to flick it up, step over, and gets past Riley Dillon for company, who then pretty much rugby tackles him from behind.
Works it out to Alex Walter. He'll want to cut in onto his right here. Walter, he glides inside, he chips it. And he deflects up, out of play for a corner. South.
Marines curls it into the back stick. Headed straight back across goal for some inexplicable reason, but Kamara gathers there and just gives a bit of a barge.
Dixon still letting Morton and Becky Marines run right as it's a good battle down on the far side there, and Ryan Cook gets his body.
Yeah, by Big Ben Robinson. Hughley cleverly flicks on for Sunday McEwen with the first time volley. Might turn to a good pass for Hay, but Kieran Brown dives out in front of it and powers them on, then chips it over the top looking for the runner, Deveki Marins. He gets goal side of Robinson, who gets himself into all trouble. Oh, not a judge to a foul there.
Wide to Whiskey Van Dorn, who's got a lot of tall timber up there, and it's going right down the throat nearly of Kieran Brown. In the end,
Whiskey Van Dorn. He's got Hugh Ludford for company. Van Dorn puts the cross in for Hugh Sloot. Stuck his leg out and couldn't quite direct it home. Behind it goes.
Play will resume. Jaden Hay launching that one into the middle. Hugh Sloot getting up. Great keeping from Kieran Brown. Now Muller. Jack Turner going up for it. Elbows from both players there. They will continue despite the possible head injury down on the field. Cropper's
Morton. And he chips it into the path of Deveki Marins. He's got the speed. Robinson was there. And Kamara a little hesitant initially to come out for that.
That only falls to Splanage. He finds Hay in a pocket of space. Great ball across. Is it an own goal? Not quite. Just over the top.
The back post. Hay and Splanage there waiting. Another bicycle attempt. Ends up being a pretty good touch, and it's nearly rolled in from Jakob Splanage.
3. Is it Iski Van Dorn? No, it's Sunday McEwen. He's got 2 in the middle. He crosses, but only as far as Gorry. That was a big chance there. Jaden Hay a little bit more with that. Wasn't under a great deal of pressure, but this man, Nick Morton's been playing an interesting role today, almost a striker at some point.
Oh, hello.
Oh, here we go.
Well, this could be one of the shortest debuts in the history of the NPL Tasmania. Riley Dillon.
He has fair crash tackled Nick Morton there and really
heads towards the back post. Sloot nearly gets it. Jordy Muller with a drive and great leg out there from Ludford. Now Horutza.
He's positioning, stretches out the leg as the corner's swung in by Sanders. Brown opts to punch. It's Jordy Muller. Willing to it straight into Ludford, and now Cook on the breakout for South Hobart. Can they?
Look, if you make your debut on the home ground of the champions and whack their star player, that's the spirit.
Right into the back.
That confidence and desire to exceed as we see the wounded Morton get a left ball in. Oh! Nearly from Deveki Marines.
The ball was Morton and slides it for Turner. This is good flowing football across from Gorry to the back post.
It's got to be free.
Flattened into after he crossed. Play continues. Warming back, and he's got the leg speed, Adam Gorry. And Sanders knew that and just took a little tumble.
Too, but we seem to get moments of excitement when we try to talk about it. Morton's in. He's going to want to score. He's got Turner. Morton. Just blazes over the top there.
Manages to stay on side. Sklenarge is in here if they can get to it. Jaden Hay! Oh, Kieran Brown with the foot save. Done exceptionally well there. And Dawn up against him, uses his body well, and it really takes the second defender, and then eventually thumped cleared. Just him to put him up there is Riley Dillon. Kevy Marker really yelling, imploring his players to move on. Deveki Marines looking to go himself. Gets on the left foot now to Morton, calls for offside, and eventually heated there. The referee.
The half-time break. Sklenarge to Huxley, back to Jakob Sklenarge. What a save here at Brown, and Sanders blazes wide, but how about the save from Brown? You won't see better than that.
David Seaman-like, incredible, gets the right.
Geordie Muller, who didn't read that one particularly well, and that is one of the more obvious yellow cards you will ever see there from Geordie Muller. And to be fair, dummies that one to Morton, who chips that one in the path of Turner, but inside, unfortunately. There is Jack Turner.
And we're back for the second half here at Darcy Street, the Theatre of Dreams. I don't know if this is a troll job by the DJ.
This is clearly troll DJ.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it, though.
Those who enjoy a bit of Tour de France coverage on SBS will be familiar with troll DJ, and I think they've got them here because playing You'll Never Walk Alone at the Theatre of Dreams is utter sacrilege.
On the day they lost the Champions League final.
They're just a Real Madrid fan, I think, the DJ here, and they're just having a bit of a laugh about it, I reckon.
You'll never walk alone unless you're Mo Salah, then you'll be tragically walking off the pitch 20 minutes into a cup final.
It's a perfect kind of melancholy song for Liverpool fans, isn't it, too?
Anyway, now that we've made an enemy out of those who... Have we made many enemies, or have they gone crawling back into the woodwork?
Well, I think there's enough enemies out there for us here. But anyway,
I've got plenty
someone
to
who's
accumulate.
made an enemy of South Hobart fans, Riley Dillon.
Yes, stone cold Riley Dillon. We've decided at half time to roll with. It was a stone cold hit, that's for sure. As Nick Morton gets us started in the second half. And there is that man, Dillon.
I thought he was going to get out the chair that time, stone cold Riley Dillon, but not this time. I'll wait until a challenger appears and comes charging down the tunnel to give him a bit of a challenge there, old Riley. But stone cold to take the throw here for the Zebs. Doesn't look like too much has changed in this second half, boys. Doesn't look like there's been any substitutions at the break. Both managers seem pretty happy to stick with what they've got because the Zebras did have chances despite not being able to convert. One particularly excellent save from Kieran Brown. Another soft shot from Jaden Hay that was also saved by the South Hobart goalkeeper. So they've had chances to even be level in this game, the Zebs, but they'll have to continue here as Devechi Marines tries to turn beyond Charutza, I think it is, for the returner gets the ball, and they're just forming up here. South Hobart being patient. Hoogslute with the pressure and forces a poor ball back and wins the turnover. And he'll need to do a lot more of that, Luke Hoogslute, if they're to win this game, because kind of pressure is crucial to winning back the ball.
Yeah, just looking at how Zebras are lining up again, no real change. Sanders appears to have pushed a bit further on, leaving last year's Golden Boot winner as the solo central midfielder, as that's a good flick-on header from Hoogslute. Nisky Van Dorn underneath it, pressured by Morton. Now the Warhorse, Hugh Ludford, launches that one clear. And seen a bit
it's
more.
A great header.
Yeah, we've seen a bit more aerial ball here today compared to normal. Both teams throughout most of the season have liked to play it on the deck, but this time we're seeing a lot more direct football as Nisky Van Dorn takes the throw in. Jaden Hay slips at a crucial moment and gives the ball away. Defecti Marins is wrestled off it by Jan Harutza, clearly taking some pointers off his left back there. At half-time was Harutza.
Chance of a tag team match perhaps developing here at Darcy Street as Jack Turner gets on the ball. He's got Schmidt in the middle. He goes in that direction. Worked it to Nick Morton. Returns it for Connor Schmidt. Connor Schmidt drills it past cover. Lovely goal, South Hobart. 3-0. And they come bursting out of the half just as they started the game.
Take a bow, Connor Schmidt, that little 1-2 there, the dribbling play, and what a cracking finish up into that top right corner. Young lad, what a goal.
Gets
and again, Troll DJ with a bit of fancy
in the middle. He goes in that direction, worked it to Nick Morton, returns it for Connor Schmidt.
Lovely 1-2 with Connor Schmidt, left foot. Sheku Kamara, no real chance with that one there. And South Hobart, again, like the first half, just coming out of the blocks. And a real fire in their belly. I reckon they'll be wanting to sink the screw in a bit here today. Don't reckon there'll be any let-up as Hoogslute gets it underway. Muller. His ball forward is deflected, but it falls to Hay. Now Hoogslute tries to go the 1-2. Good shepherd there from Cook. Sklenage with the head up. And Sunday just about takes Adam Gorry's feet out from underneath him there. Geordie Muller retrieves that one to Riley Dillon. The booing has stopped in the second half, it appears. As Harutza plays it out to Robinson. Now Nisky Van Dorn. Hasn't got a lot of options on this side, but does well to jink inside. And misplaced pass does fall to Geordie Muller, however. And now Dillon with Turner breathing down his neck. Walks central to Van Dorn. He's got Jaden Hay out wide, elects to go there, but read that one like a book.
Did cook.
Did the chef. Now Morton only really has cooked for company, but between them they do pretty well.
He brought the no-look pass into that one there for a second. Morton just starting to show off a little with the 3-1 lead as Sanders burst through the back of Feral TV. Taveki Marines holds it up well, and he just leapt up into the air really there, but probably did cop a bit of a kick there from Harutza, and maybe 6 of one and half a dozen of the other there, but the free kick is paid South's way, and I don't feel like the South fans will feel like they've had the benefit of the refereeing decisions despite being 3-0 up.
Yeah, that's true, and I mean, you're always liable to give away a free kick when you got both arms around the player, so especially from the angle that Copper was at, he probably saw it as a free kick as Morton gives the mysterious hand signal and everyone runs around. No real method to that, but Morton looks towards the back post. And it's Walter managing to jump over Luke Huxley, which takes some doing. It falls.
Stone cold Riley Dillon charging up the left-hand side. He's got Geordie Muller on the inside here. He goes to him. He's got Huxley now, looking to play a little bit deeper at times, perhaps in this second half. But what a poor pass there and given away to the Morthog before Big Ben bails him out. Ball comes to Sklanage here. He just gets well handled off it by Nick Morton, who goes the no-look pass again. He's having quite a game today, the Morthog. Been involved in some wrestling matches. Been on the end of some great passes too. And we see a nice little challenge there from Gorry on, I think, Sunday McEwen, is it? Who's switched out to the other side.
Yeah, it was. And just to win the free kick, which Jacob Sklanage will trot over to take.
Really got to get something from this, or I think it's curtains, boys.
Yeah, I reckon that early goal, huge blow for the Zebras comeback hopes. They've got goals in the side, but to go down 3.
Going near post here.
Curls it in, headed and wide, and Robinson at the back post was there to apply the finishing touch and just couldn't direct it. It was a well-worked set piece. Sklenage's ball fizzed in here to the near post. It's flicked on, and all it needed was Robinson just to direct it, but he couldn't quite get the head to it.
Does he?
Yeah,
the hand going out a little bit, just tempted to, and manages to stop himself from trying to just slap it into the net there. But it was a well-worked set piece there, particularly from Jakob Sklener, who saw everybody gathered at the near post and put in a beautiful ball there. It was a pity that Sanders couldn't get a bit more onto it. For LTV now. Great pass there from Morthog. Taveki Marines jinx inside one, but the touch took it too close to Muller. The Zebs now recycle the ball. Muller again with, wasn't the worst pass that I saw, but perhaps just wrong-footed there a little bit. Taveki Marines is in, and it's 4! Taveki Marines with a clinical finish after a beautiful ball played through from my man Gorry, I think it was, boys.
Well, it's happening again, just like the Laka Seljuk Cup. This is a rout. South Hobart riding all over the top of this Zebras team. They just cannot deal with them at the back. And the Brazilian gets his goal. Renato Taveki Marines. Well, Adam Gorry sliding this one through, just took the defence out of it. And Taveki Marines with a simple tap in past Kamara. And 4-0, the game well and truly done.
A little bit there. I think that's a pretty tough shot to get that one into the far post.
Not for Renato Taveki Marines, it is not.
True.
It's all relative, Morgs.
True.
This man, he's in the type of form where that is a simple tap in for him. He's just torching defences week in, week out, and Huxley trying to get one back immediately here, crossing towards Jaden Hay, and Brown will be able to collect. But 4-0, it's Everest to climb now for this Zebras team.
Yeah.
Well, they do play the attacking kind of lineup that you need to play if you're to get back from 4-0, but you'd think it'd take something pretty exceptional for them to give it up now, as Iski Van Dorn hasn't given up the chase. Even Jaden Hay combining there, but thought maybe a shout that had come off Morton, but I'm probably going a little bit blind. Oh, and he just gives one to Copra there, does Taveki Marines, and says, why didn't you send off Stone Cold? I'm going to falcon you right in the head. Get it going again here. Sunday McEwen from distance, but never connected with that shot.
No, they're going to have to check the vanishing spray after that one. It was sent flying from its holster there from Brenton Copra.
Hopefully they didn't get any on the bottle, or they won't be able to find it.
As we see a double change here for the Zebras, it's Ben Robinson and Geordie Muller coming off here with, I'm going to assume one of them is James Ackley coming on, and the other one looks like the bun of Olaf Conforti coming on.
It's a triple sub. He has pulled the trigger. We've got the Dwayne pipe coming too.
He's gone full football manager here. It's the 55th to 60th minute. He's all down. He's going, bugger it, I'm making every change. As Sunday McEwen is coming off as well. So that's Walsh, Conforti and Ackley coming on. And poor old Matthew Pace might as well go and have a shower now. It's the only outfield sub left on the pitch, on the bench, I should say.
Probably won't need a sub. Shower rather, Paul. As they get it going again short, South Hobart through Gorry there. Just tease it up to Walter. Nobody really contesting the header with him, but crumbed well there from Stone Cold Riley Dillon. It's going to be the Dwayne pipe now, I think, who's perhaps getting involved as the left back now, with Riley Dillon just moving into a centre back role here. I think next to Harutza.
Yes, that ball's completely cleared the fence and ended up just about in Darcy Street. That one there, and I'm just thinking, if you were to, write out on a piece of paper of the Zebras players, what is your preferred position? I think we'd end up with 2 defenders on the pitch, and they're 4-0 down. There's not too many recognised defenders left on the pitch as Morton looks towards DeVecchi Marines, who's got one of those in the Harutza to beat. All right, to Cook. But yeah, between the Dwayne Pipe and Van Dorn as your fullbacks, you're pretty much left with Riley Dillon and Jan Harutza as your only defenders, which means this could either go one way, it would be 5-4, stay at 4-0, or it could be about 10.
That would seem more likely the way this game is playing out at the moment, Paul. South Hobart have not been overly concerned by the number of attackers they've had out there. That's just left more holes at the back for them to expose. They've been a bit defensively naive today, the Zebras. It's all well and good to have dreams of coming out here and scoring 7 or 8 and playing a team off the park, but I'm afraid they're just looking far more likely of leaking that many rather than scoring them themselves. And South Hobart, look, they've learnt their lessons from the opening night, and twice now in the 2 meetings since, they have absolutely punished them. Ken Morton absolutely getting the managerial victory for a second time.
Oh, well done there.
Turner did really well to bring that one down. Alex Walter now into the middle for Connor Schmidt. Jeez, he's been impressive in midfield today. Luke Farrell out to Walter. Some quick feet, but dispossessed by Ackley. And worked forwards. Oscar Thomas stooping with the header. Walsh, Schmidt. Now Gorry, can he get it to Turner? Instead he just goes himself and goes around the defender. Puts it out in front of Turner. He's trying to track it now. He does. And a simple tap-in on this occasion. He's blazed into the stratosphere by DeVecchi Marines. Well, I've seen it all now, folks. What an extraordinary miss.
Oh dear, I don't know how he's managed this, but perhaps just taking a bobble here will get very slow motion. Got to finish that.
Yeah, he's just leant back and somehow skied it. But at 4-0, we'll forgive him that one. But
at 4-0 and with a goal already to his name, I think I can. Oh, I don't know if I can let it slide, actually. That is pretty bloody terrible, mate.
I mean, I gave it to the Colonel Sanders for his miss of the year earlier in the season. That's running a very close second, if not overtaking it.
To be fair, I did call Hayes' attempted finish poor, but they could get in trouble here, the Zebs. Perhaps they have. DeVecchi Marines continues to compete, but it didn't quite fall right there. But yes, after slating Hay, I've got to slate DeVecchi Marines there, but it's just going to be a corner here to South Hobart. Looking a little confused at the back perhaps there, the Zebras. It'll be curled in potentially to make it 5, which it should be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, DeVecchi Marines, pretty hard to miss from there, especially when you're on the goal-scoring form he's in.
He's scored a lot harder chances over the last month, that's for sure. South will take it short to the Morthog, plays it in there, won't get past Sklenage, back out. Adam Gorry was attacking it, but Walsh got there first. All the way back now to Hugh Ludford. He sends it across to the chef, and he just swings it forward in the Walter direction. Walter chests it down for Turner. Harutza got there first. It was clever from Walter, though. Just brought it down beautifully. Connor Schmidt Left it behind for Sklenage. Conforti. Cross now to Luke Hughes-Sloot. He's got Jaden Hay and Iski Van Dorn. He opts for the Canadian who surges forward. He's got Hay on the overlap for him and he heads there now. Hay checks inside and Luke Farrell just clears that one away. Reach the hour mark as the raffle winners have just been announced. Throw taken to Jaden Hay. He's got Cook marking him tightly. Van Dorn's shot was blocked. Farrell forwards for Riley Dillon, a one-on-one with Nick Morton. Who I'm sure
Stone Cold calm there from Stone Cold.
Yeah, Morton I thought might have been sensing a bit of a chance for revenge as Ackley's almost in at the other end, but that's defended away. Gorry's got DeVecchi and he's got Walter, and it's only Harutza back here for the Zebras. He did it really well, but Turner's made a bursting run forwards. He's got two in support, and it might fall still for DeVecchi. It's just going to be scrambled away in the end in the foul. Right, DeVecchi on Van Dorn. Just got into his back. He did it cleverly there, the Canadian. Took the front position. As soon as he felt the contact, he said, I'll take a tumble now.
I thought it was soft, but beautiful ball coming through here for Jaden Hay. Didn't quite manage to gather that, unfortunately for him. Just teed up the line to the offside DeVecchi Marines, and Harutza calmly knocks it down to Iski Van Dorn, who, if I'm going to be fair to, hasn't played the worst game that I've seen him in an unfamiliar position.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He's probably, as we mentioned before, probably been their best defender.
Jaden Hay tees it in
towards Colonel Sanders, but not enough on that ball end. And I've also been really impressed with Ryan Cook. I haven't seen a lot of him before this season, but he's coming on in leaps and bounds. A few of the other youngsters of South Hobart have been in and out of the team, but he's really starting to get a starting 11 spot as someone's looking towards Walter, but settling out of play for a throw-in.
Score update for up north, still 1-0 to the Olympia Warriors over Northern Rangers up there. The other NPL Taz action going on today. Walsh smashes that one forward. Ludford's header might invite Jakob Sklenage in. He chests it down. Jakob Sklenage pulls one back. The Jet Cobra strikes and he pulls it back to 4-1 with a clinical finish. It's the first step on a very long journey back for the Hobart Zebras.
He did a really good job holding off the defender there and still being able to finish. But I was just thinking perhaps the goalkeeper could have come a little bit earlier maybe.
Well, I think he thought the defenders had it covered, but yeah, probably could have been slightly off his line a bit quicker. And I mean, without wanting to sound too cynical, that's what happens when you have one of the best strikers in the state in an attacking position. It's probably the furthest forward he's been all game, Jakob Sklenage. If you got someone who can score 20 plus like he did last year, he probably should be in that position more often. As Jaden Hay can't quite get that one to Hughes-Sloot. Now Walter. I was expecting Turner to get on a bit more of a sprint there. 40 against Morton. It's right down to the head of Adam Gorry, who hits that one out of play. Mark Moncur, goalkeeping coach, not really bothering to play ball boy duty there. Why would you when you're 4-1 up? As Walsh launches that one in the direction. Gorry flicks that one. Turner tries to flick it round Conforti, but does enough. Does the youngster. Now Walsh battling with Walsh, and the Dwayne Pipe keeps making his run. Again, it's pretty good defence there from Connor Schmidt. Doesn't quite get it out.
Ackley.
To the near post, and Sklenage got purchase on it, but not quite enough power to beat Kieran Brown.
Great cross in there from the wide position from young Ackley out there on the left-hand side. But Gorry again getting involved. Beautiful through ball here for DeVecchi Marines. He's got Gorry again. That is a clear handball from Stone Cold. I think it might have been, oh no, it was Iski Van Dorn. I was about to be baying for the red card there, boys.
Have a look on the replay here. DeVecchi Marines.
It is Stone Cold.
It was Stone Cold.
Get him off.
Close enough to his body, I reckon the refs decided there as Nick Morton picks it up.
If that was close to his body, then the crucifixion had his arms close to his body, boys. That was not close to his body at all. Gets away with another one there, does Stone Cold.
He's got away with two. He's got away with two, that's for sure. As Walsh chips it. That's a good little ball in behind for Ackley, who's given him a little bit of pop since coming on. What can he do here, Jimmy Ackley? Turns onto the right, and his shot takes a deflection behind for a corner. Another chance here, perhaps, for the Zebras to try and work their way back in. Taking the first step, but there's still 3 down.
Surely the Zebs could get the lad an extra small shirt.
Yeah, it's something that probably could be done there. There's a bit of a dressing gown on the kid. Was 40 off his short, but not electing to take that option. Into the mixer it goes. Huge slip, just manages to get ahead to it. Turner chests it out and will thump it clear. Sending Deveki Marins
Great ball
to chase, and he manages to get there, urged on by the crowd to skin him. Coming back is Iski Van Dorn. Beats one. Has to go again, does Deveki, and tries to shoot on the left foot. And Sheku Kamara backtracking. Terribly convincing there.
He did not just try to chip him on his left foot from that angle, did he? That is rude from Deveki Marins, showing absolutely no respect to the keeper of the season last year, Sheku Kamara. That is just audacious from the number 18 for South Hobart there, but the Zebs are in a bit of a pocket of space here, trying to get it through, but that was a poor ball from Conforti, which allowed Cook to get in. He just surfs the challenge there from Conforti. Perhaps unlucky to not win a free kick. The Zebras player, well held up there by Deveki Marins, but Harutza's strength wins out. Conforti again goes wide. Don't think he was intending that for Sklanage, but Sanders found him anyway before he just gets bustled off the ball by Nick Morton. Sniffing out truffles like the Morthog does. Pharrell TV gets on the charge now before Walter puts in a beautiful ball, which Stone Cold defends rather well in the end. And Kamara just heaves it forward to Sanders. Starting to get a little bit frantic here as the Zebs try perhaps a little bit too late to try and get back into this game.
Jaden Hay in and down the right here. He keeps his feet crucially. Jaden Hay, he centres a big chance here. And brilliant save again from Brown, but Sklanage puts it either side of him and it's 4-2.
He had to finish there, Sklanage. He absolutely had to finish, but full credit to the goalkeeper for staying on his feet and staying up and not picking a side early.
Great
because
save.
you can easily see keepers go to one side too early there and it goes straight down the guts at him.
Yeah, he's
had a great game, hasn't he?
He's had a fantastic game, Kieran Brown, and Sklanage, I think he was just concerned with trying to get it under the crossbar rather than into a corner there as Sanders whips this one in over the keeper's head and now got a fall. It's into the side netting. One person in the entire crowd thought that one was in.
Oh, there's always one, isn't there, boys? A little bit premature with the celebration there from one of the Zebs fans in the crowd. Just hoping beyond hope that they can get back into the game, really.
Certainly was a hope as Oscar Thomas launches that one to nobody in particular. But Dwayne Pipe comfortably claims that one. Now Iski Van Dorn. Hay and Sanders offering. Didn't quite get to either of them. He'll hope that one goes out for a throw, and it does. Rutzer takes it quickly. Riley Dillon out to the Dwayne Pipe, whose first touch is good enough to get around Deveki, and he's probably overhit that one a bit towards Ackley. Roll out for a goal kick. And just a bit of the pace gone out of this game so far. I think South Hobart aren't quite as pressing as manically as they have been in the first half. Well, my only
a pretty fair assessment there.
My only other theory on Riley Dillon and Nick Morton is he's just come from Bentley Greens, and Nick Morton is an ex-South Melbourne player, and I don't think those two clubs like each other a whole lot, so maybe he just...
Maybe there's some history there.
Some residual.
We will speculate wildly about it regardless. But South Hobart is starting to develop this attacking move now a little bit more. Connor Schmidt gets it across to Nick Morton. He's got Deveki Marins in too much space. Goes the curler. Sheku Kamara was well alert to that one and just belts it long to try and get this attack going. Sklanage competes there with Oscar Thomas. Colonel Sanders has greased his way in behind. Turns well, crosses well. Sklanage just past the far post there from Sklanage. He just mistimed the header a little bit there. Some extraordinary work from Colonel Sanders. But again, he probably should finish that. He's uncontested.
It could be 4-3 here with the chances Jakob Sklanage has had in the last 5 minutes. How that's not hit the back of the net, I do not know. That is the exact striker I would want in that situation to knock that one into the far corner. It could be oh so different here. Now that Jakob Sklanage has moved up top, this last 8 minutes has been pretty much all Zebras.
Yeah, I think you go, Morgs.
What I think is just extraordinary is the small margins in football, in that if Kieran Brown has a bad game today, then Gabriel Marcage would be just seen as the genius. But Kieran Brown has a good game and the result on paper looks pretty bad, but I also think that Zebras have had a fair few chances to try and be even in this game.
Well, Jacobs Glenage has had 4 chances from within inside 8 yards in this game, and we'll at least expect him to put half of them away, as that one's looking towards the striker. Ludford mistouched that one, and I was talking in pre-game about potentially pressuring Hugh Ludford as a potential weak point for South Hobart. He's really had to do a lot here today. I mean, now that Glenage is there, he's
he's had a better game, I think, than Oscar Thomas. Probably one of the weaker ones I've seen from Thomas at times, getting caught a little bit out of position, particularly on that first goal that the Zebras scored, I think, through Glenage. We're seeing them move the ball around a bit better here. Iski Van Dorn goes far post to Sanders, headed away by Oscar Thomas. Getting involved there are Gorry, young Ackley.
Probably a product of the score, but South being a little more passive in their defending now too, just sitting back, not really looking to force the issue as they were in the first half, and just inviting a little bit of danger, which is, they do a few chances, but yeah, as you said, it's just been the difference in taking your chances. South at the other end have been far more clinical, and the Zebras have just left a number of prime goal scoring looks on the doorstep and just not been able to find the back of the net when those chances have presented themselves. And that's why they find themselves in this 4-1 hole as they try to work it down the right here, South Hobart. They get it eventually to Deveki Marins, who's got no one in his own half in support there. He wins the throw, and now they've slowly wander up, but South, you just get the sense they're happy to take all the sting out of this one now. Just kill the game off. They don't want it to be an open affair with chances. The game is in their pocket, and they'll be happy just to take all the pace out of it. As Walsh nods it down to Hugh Sloot, and picked off by Adam Gorry, surging forwards. He's got Morton in the middle. Adam Gorry got the ball caught between his feet in the end, and the white wall stood firm. Walsh to Ackley. Ackley to Conforti, the former South player, coming on the ground he's played plenty of times in the past. But it all comes unstuck on halfway.
The white wall, eh? A little bit of Game of Thrones creeping into that there, Cooling.
Yeah, well, South Hobart have had their fire-breathing dragon, Deveki Marins, to just burn their way through it. They have melted today, this wall. As this one smashed forward by Stone Cold there to Jaden Hay, works it to Iski Van Dorn, tried to return it to Hay, but cut off by Cook. Well, a lot of movement in front of him, only Deveki Marins offering, and that's all he needed as he juggles around one. Huxley puts the head down, and that's
nowhere near his head, I don't think.
As this one's over the top, Sanders is out after it, punched away by Brown before the Colonel could pounce. And it'll be picked up by Cook. Down the line for the Morthog Morton. He swings it over the top. Deveki was not moving for that though.
Some agricultural football going on here in this 73rd minute so far, boys.
It's getting to that time of year where the pitches around Tasmania get a little agricultural, especially with their wild weather. As that one's gone towards Sanders. Lets the ball bounce, gets a head in and puts it over the top. Kieran Brown and Hugh Ludford quite communicating as well as you'd want your defensive pairing too.
I had a better view of Adam Gorry Jr. just then, cutting off my view for that goal, but it certainly looked a chance there for the big Colonel Sanders, but just couldn't quite get the dip there on Kieran Brown, could he?
I mean, what they teach you in the junior ranks is don't let the ball bounce in your 6-yard box, and you've surely got to come out for that one. Strong, imposing presence needed there from Kieran Brown, as Ackley wins the header. 40 giving chase. Connor Schmidt cleaning up rather well. And a flick on header from Walter. Gorry nearly gets in behind.
They're just playing long ball football now, aren't they, South Hobart? This is.
I haven't seen them play the ball through the middle in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's almost like the centre circle is just a banned area at the moment. There's a throw in taken on the far side. Goes to the feet of Walter. Gorry back to turn up. Huxley goes to ground. Lloyd Farrell. Now turn up. South keeping possession well here. And a bit of a rush ball there from Gorry and commentator's curse. It goes right down the throat of Sheku Kamara. Went to go with the drop kick and he's nearly found Jakob's Glenage, who just keeps it in. Gorry tries to smash that one clear. Sanders will chase it down, but Brown coming out to collect well.
Well alert there, South Hobart keeper, because Sanders was alert to it as well. Could have gotten him into a scoring position had the keeper not been aware, so decent play there once again from South's number 1. But just a poor header there from the Dwayne Pipe, and Turner just lobs it into the centre of the park. Nick Morton starts to run towards Hook's Loop, gives it away to Walter. Walter tries to take on 2 of them and does so successfully. He's got 2 in the middle, doesn't cross first time. Puts it back to Gorry, still got 2 in the middle. They'll just hang on to the ball here, South Hobart. Connor Schmidt does well under the challenge from Sklanage. Luke Farrell gets his head up. Schmidt and him just play a little 1-2. Sensible, calm stuff here from South Hobart. Walters goes the cross. He's got Turner. The cork in the ocean nearly bobbed up again there before Stone Cold just belts that one away. And the Dwayne Pipe does the same.
Pumped forward from Schmidt. Now it falls to DeVecchi Marines. Hugh Sloot behind him, gets a foot in. Misky Van Dorn plays it out to Jaden Hay, who hasn't seen a huge amount of the ball in this second half. He's setting Misky Van Dorn rather a task there.
He just had a little, you could see the shake of his head that he had to chase that ball there for Misky Van Dorn. Wasn't very happy about it. And fair enough too, it was a pretty poor effort.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either, as Riley Dillon slips as he chips that one forward, ends up at Sanders. 1-2 with Sklanage. Out wide to Ackley. Got Gorry for company and as well as Schmidt. Now the Colonel. That's not the 1-2 he was after there from Ackley, and South will just not build this one up and just bump it forward.
So willing to park themselves on the edge of the box.
With the turn, nearly could get a cheese there. Slide tackle for mine. Stays on his feet. There's about 2 cheeses there from Jan Harutza. DeVecchi Marines, another piece of absolute brilliance there. And, I mean, quite fortunate not to have conceded a goal there, the Zebras.
I don't know how he came away with it.
Majestic turn. There's the first shirt pull from Harutza, and there's the Scythic challenge. Eventually, Iski Van Dorn got some ball, but not before Harutza gets a well-earned slice of cheese.
Who's going to fancy themselves over this one, Andrew Calling?
Oh, the Morthog is absolutely he's already dreaming of his celebration where he first lets Stone Cold know all about it and then lets the crowd know just how good he is. So let's see if he can first deposit it into the back of the net.
I want to see a bit of an elbow slam celebration or something like that with the teammates if he drills this one away, because he would have been planning something up, you'd think, the Morthog. The magic spray comes down.
Ryan Cook's also lurking, and he has a lovely left foot which he can hit balls on. And it is the side for a left footer, so will the youngster perhaps be the one to take it? He is. It's Cook, and Kamara pushes it aside. DeVecchi Marines at the rebound. And the Brazilian genius has Hay leaning all over him, and they just punched it away in the end, but no foul. So instead it'll be handball against DeVecchi. And he launches it long to Sanders, who just relieved Hugh Ludford of his feet temporarily. Flicked on now, Alex Walter charging in behind. And that's surely a foul from Dillon. And that'll be his second yellow. That will be
Here we go.
Shet Kamara getting involved. Quite animated, but he survived earlier. I don't think he's going to survive on this occasion, Riley Dillon.
Come on.
Or is he? He might just have.
Oh, he's shaking hands. Oh, I don't know how he has stayed on.
Forget Stone Cold, this guy's Houdini.
I have no idea how he's on the field at the moment, Riley Dillon.
Well, the drama continues down here. If you'd offered South Hobart a 4-1 win and 2 obvious send-offs denied, I think they'd probably take the 4-1 win out of it. But at the same time, Stone Cold Houdini, you're absolutely right there. He's a hard man, but he can escape from any situation.
So Adam Gorry now over the dead ball. It's Adam Gorry crossing in for Turner! Make that 5-star South Hobart. It's another demolition job at Darcy Street. They can protest all they want, the Zebras defence. It's all too easy for the South Hobart side.
Jack Turner's celebration there, giving it to Sheku Kamara immediately. He was unmarked. I don't know who had who had the marker there, but they've all played for offside, and you just leave Jack Turner 7 yards as we have our Silverchair for reasons unknown.
He's a bit of a freak.
He's a goal.
He is a freak.
His
He is a
ability
freak
to
of
bob up
nature.
in the box is not natural. It is freakish, and quite appropriate there. Troll DJ just really doing a good job.
Let's hope Jack Turner's babies don't have rabies in the future there. As that's 5-1 South Hobart. And it has been another star performance from the team from Darcy Street. Come 40 with a lovely through ball there towards Jaden Hay. Good covering defence there from Connor Schmidt. It has been absolutely everywhere today. I'd love to see his heat map. He's covered a lot of the pitch today, has Connor Schmidt. Daniel Sanders takes the corner kick, goes back post, hit first time and cleared off the line by South Hobart.
Is Riley Dillon still on the pitch, boys?
Yeah, funnily enough, he is. It's usually knocks that one out for a throw in. At half time I said it's probably the worst non-red card since Nigel de Jong. Well, this is about the worst non-two red cards I've ever seen. It's
a blatant body check.
Yeah.
But oh well, we will continue with this 5-1 demolition job continues from South Hobart. And frankly, they look like the team who could be scoring more here. The long ball tactics seem to have worked pretty well as they just let the Zebras overcommit their bodies forward, and with the attacking numbers they have on the pitch, they don't leave a lot behind when they have the ball come back at them. Some great link-up play here though from the Zebs. Ackley now puts his head up, just dribbles around Gorry, cross to the far post. A little bit too much on that one there, I think, from Ackley, but doing a decent job to manufacture the chance.
It's the second or third time they've done that, Zebras, since they made their triple sub, and it just makes you wonder why they possibly should have started with that before. Nice passing in the centre of the park.
Nice
an errant one from Oscar Thomas.
Tell you what, their road form has to be a concern though. This is 3 times in the last 4 road games they've conceded 5 goals. They drew with Clarence in the one they didn't in a 1-all draw. They've only had the 1 win on the road all year, which was when Jake French turned into Superman up at Valley Road, and I'll tell you what, he might be angling to get back into this starting lineup upon his return from the Futsal Youth World Cup, where he just led the Australia team to gold. And yeah, he's a fantastic futsal keeper, as anyone would have seen. He saved time that game at Valley Road, and that's the only time on the road this year the Zebras have got a positive result. And it's got to be a major concern because they are just leaking goals every time they move away from KG5 or North Hobart.
Yeah,
it's hard to quite put a finger on it though, whether it's this kind of midfield situation that they went with today with Muller and Sklenage and Sanders essentially being the midfield 3, but just wonder if it's a bit of a personnel issue in the same way that perhaps Geordie Muller might need a bit of a hard head next to him to go along with his ball distributing skills. Something to just get a bit of balance back in this Zebs side, because we know what they can do in attack, and I always love it when teams go with the philosophy that they love to attack, but at the same time, as you rightly say, there's been a few too many games where they've conceded 5 goals and the like.
Reckless abandon seems to be more Zebra's motto, as Gorry manages to get the ball off the Twain pipe now to the Mordhog, who's itching for a goal. Gorry looks for Turner. He'll keep that one in. Jack Turner. Good defence there from Ackley, but yeah, we've got French out representing Australia, and in the match notes today, Ken Morton saying Saraceno's off to Sydney FC for a little while for a trial, which is good to hear, and heard rumours and whispers the other week there might be someone else from NPL Tas off to Brisbane, so for a little while. So all good here in Tasmanian youth football.
Yeah, Saraceno, Ken Morton very happy with his development, and doesn't look 16, but despite his size he is very young. Saraceno, we've seen a few glimpses of him, but he'll be heading over for a trial at Sydney, trying to get into that youth league team to play in the National Youth League. And the bright young prospect as Kamara gets him moving quickly. to Van Dorn. Chiruzza almost eluded him. Van Dorn just drifting inside and then left it a little bit short for Conforti, who's surrounded by shirts, but his pass might work out. Chasing after this was Jaden Hay, but sharp off the line was Kieran Brown. And he puts it into touch.
Yeah, both goalkeepers perhaps been a little hesitant at times to get off their line, but that was really well done by Kieran Brown. Great challenge there from Walter. Goes in hard there, but they can't quite win the ball back, South Hobart. Cook overcommits. Jaden Hay into a good spot, but the cross was poor. Great coming together from Ludford and Conforti, but geez, that shot came in too quickly for me to just about call. Luke Hooksloot with the belter from distance going a metre or two wide. Not a bad effort there from the Zebs.
Pretty good power on that shot there from Hughesley, but again, falling wide as we've got 5 minutes left in this clash. Kieran Brown, a very, very accurate goal kick there to Connor Schmidt. Now Turner looking to find DeVecchi. And again, Turner robs it off the feet of the Dwayne Pipe. There's now 5 streaming forward. Morton at the back post. Walter! Oh, he was utterly unmarked in the middle of the goals there, Alex Walter. Unfortunately, it was closer to Walter Bless than the back of the net.
There was a Nick Morton lurking at the far post who was saying, why couldn't you have just let that go if you're going to finish like that, Alex Walter? 5-1, they won't be too upset again. So Dwayne Pipe gets involved here. Bit of link-up play between Conforti and Sklenage and Hoogsloot, but they give it away again. Just stroked into a good spot there from Loic Farrell before.
Oscar
Probably
Thomas.
should be a free kick against Oscar Thomas there, but oh dear.
And the throw's actually one off to South
Oh,
Hobart.
it definitely came off a Zebra's player there, but if you will have a look here, there is no contact with the ball from Oscar Thomas, so that's probably a free kick.
Yeah, you're not wrong
to
there.
Conforti, but I've got a far better view of that from up here than the referee does on the pitch. We've got to be fair to him.
We do, as South Hobart now stroking around between their defenders. Kieran Brown leaving that one up to Gorry, who manages to keep it in. Dwayne Pipe takes it off the toe of Turner. Now Conforti. Oh, Morton robs him there, but now Whiskey Van Dorn. Jaden Hay in a bit of space, but he just tucked inside there. Hay rather than hugging the touchline.
I think it was part of his effort to get back on side, just as the ball wasn't played quite as quickly as Jaden Hay wanted. So you see good awareness there from Sklenage to cut off the option of throwing back to the keeper there for Cook. So it's forced further up the pitch here for the Zebras. The turn away here. Nothing really doing there at all, fellas.
Yeah, I know they're 5-1 down, Zebras, but the patience that I guess they've probably been allowed to play with making them look like a lot better side than they were the first.
And a lot of
70
gesticulating going on about a decision down there on the South Hobart bench. Probably the most ruffled I've seen the Silver Fox in quite some time, but they're away here. I'm not entirely sure that was offside. It looked pretty close. Judging from the expression on the Morthog's face, he thought so too.
Yeah, Rutzer there very unhappy about the arm round the shoulder he copped before and was expecting a free kick and just stood still.
It's threatened to boil over at times, this one.
On the scoreboard?
Certainly, they've nearly run out of numbers in our system. The way South have been scoring has got a goal up north for Olympia, 2-0.
Oh, well done, Olaf Conforti, young lad, coming up against one of the more seasoned performers, the NPL Taz. Great way to win the ball back. And now Jaden Hay is in a great amount of space. Across the face. Sanders has missed an open net just about there. The pressure coming in from Kieran Brown, I think, might have put him off a little bit, but probably should have scored there, the Colonel.
I think he's wanting to keep his crown of Miss of the Year. I mean, DeVecchi Marins 20 minutes ago nearly took it off him.
That's it.
And he has just absolutely clean fresh air in that one as Colonel Sanders. He's got absolutely none of that.
As I said earlier, he has tried to eat his cake before he had it there, Paul Hunt, as the crowd gives a wonderful reception to DeVecchi Marines. Scored a beautiful goal here today and has just added so much energy to this South Hobart side up front. Take a bow, young man, because it's been a privilege to have you down here and playing regularly in front of us all.
Yeah, it certainly is, and someone who we won't be seeing too regularly coming up, Antonio Saraceno. We mentioned him before, last game for a little while. Good to see him get some game tape to show those up at Sydney.
Well, if it all works out, hopefully this is the last time we see him in the NPL Tasmania.
Well, I'm going to ridiculously praise him for the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, just build that highlights package for him.
Absolutely.
Gary works it for. But yeah,
really like the way he's just hanging a little bit off the shoulder there of Peruzza. Showing great game awareness and intelligence there is Saraceno.
As we mentioned, doesn't look 16.
Certainly doesn't. I thought he was much older than that. And Walters won it back. It could be a goal here for Saraceno, but well chopped out by Shek Kamara. Saw that he was going the assist there and just gives a little bit of a swing of the elbow at Turner, who got a little bit too close to comfort for him. But they're going to get it going again here, the Zebs. It hasn't been for want of trying to score goals that they're behind today. Just been a little bit lacking at the back. As we see the returner return to South Hobart after a little dalliance with Olympia earlier this season. And it is the returner that wins the free kick.
Yeah, as we tick in 2 at a time here at Darcy Street. South Hobart running out comfortable winners here today. No hurry to take this free kick whatsoever. And Zebras aren't really pressuring Kieran Brown either, to be fair. Chip ball in the direction of Schmidt. Oscar Thomas sticks a leg out, and Connor Schmidt, it's a surname of German origin. He's playing a lot like Philip Lahm today. Sometimes you've seen him at right back, left back, centre mid, just progressing everywhere. Is Schmidt, and does well to get his body in the way of Olaf Conforti making contact.
Just a ridiculously solid player, Connor Schmidt. He's got a great set of tools and he can slot him in all over the lineup, and you know he's going to be effective. We've seen him play as a winger before as well in this South Hobart team. Just Mr. Versatile, but I've really liked his work in the middle of the park today. He's got in there, got stuck in and won the ball back for his side. And got the ball moving forwards well. It's been a fantastic performance from Connor Schmidt today. Not too many.
The goal too.
Yeah.
And the link-up play that led to his goal was really good effort.
Do we
I understand why they haven't missed Quayle too much.
Well, it was going to be a massive vacancy to fill in this team, but Connor Schmidt really doing a good job with it as Hay nods it. So too does Morton. Hugh Sloot repelled away by Thomas. Jack Turner still working hard. Suspicions of handball allowed to go. Jaden Hay running at Cook and trying to get him behind. Hay crossing and a chance. And deposited into the back of the net by Sanders to make it 5-2. That might be still maybe a minute or so left, but a late consolation goal for the Colonel. And they pull it back to 5-2.
Yeah,
but it probably is a fair reflection of where they've been trying to get involved in this game. A lot of the crosses are coming in from that wide position between Jaden Hay and Sanders and Sklenage and Hoog in the middle, but that was a bit of a better delivery than he's been coming out with throughout the day. I think Jaden Hay just lacking a little end product despite how well he's gotten involved in it.
We were talking before about it's a game with fine margins. I mean, Sklenage has missed 2 by an inch, and Sanders with that fresh area. I mean, it could have been even more goals here at Darcy Street. We see a late substitution from South Hobart. So, Hugh Ludford coming off. And
Jack Bowman.
The Archer coming on. Will he get a touch is probably the question here. I'd probably let that roll through to him so he could get his foot on the ball there. Jack Bowman.
Long ball South Hobart today. This is just...
But it worked. Oh, no, it doesn't work in that case. Alex Walter judged to have fouled the Dwayne pipe. And yeah, you see those substitutions when time wasting, but entirely sure.
They really adapted their play well today, South Hobart, between their normal passing build-up, and once they got a bit of a lead here, they were happy to just lob it long, and when the Zebras overcommitted players forward, they were able to punish them. And that is the story of the game.
They've punished them indeed. It is South Hobart running out 5-2 winners here at Darcy Street. Some fantastic goals from the men in red here today. Zebras lucky to have...
My prediction right there, but no, very good performance from South. A big win. They continue to roll on in season 2018. They're recovering nicely working their way up the table. They've still got some chasing to do.
It's tough for a man of the match today too, isn't it, I think, boys? I think Connor Schmidt would have a pretty good shout. Nick Morton, DeVecchi, Marins and Gorry and Brown all had brilliant games for South Hobart too, but I'll just about be inclined to give it to the keeper today because he's probably made about 4 saves that would have been clear goals, I think.
I'll change it up and go the complete other end of the pitch. I'll go to Vecchi Marins. He's worth the price of admission alone, that player, and just the spark and energy really from South Hobart. It's Warhorse Hugh Ludford coming off, and
Jack Bowman.
The Archer coming on. Will he get a touch is probably the question here. I'd probably let that roll through to him so he could get his foot on the ball there. Jack Bowman.
Long ball South Hobart today. This is just...
But it worked. Oh, no, it doesn't work in that case. Alex Walter judged to have fouled the Dwayne pipe. And yeah, you see those substitutions when time wasting, but entirely short.
They really adapted their play well today, South Hobart, between their normal passing build-up, and once they got a bit of a lead here, they were happy to just lob it long, and when the Zebras overcommitted players forward, they were able to punish them. And that is the story of the game.
They've punished them indeed. It is South Hobart running out 5-2 winners here at Darcy Street. Some fantastic goals from the men in red here today. Zebras lucky to have...
My prediction right there, but no, very good performance from South, a big win. They continue to roll on in season 2018. They're recovering nicely, working their way up the table. They've still got some chasing to do.
It's tough for a man of the match today too, isn't it, I think, boys? I think Connor Schmidt would have a pretty good shout. Nick Morton, DeVecchi, Marins and Gorry and Brown all had brilliant games for South Hobart too, but I'll just about be inclined to give it to the keeper today because he's probably made about 4 saves that would have been clear goals, I think.
I'll change it up and go the complete other end of the pitch. I'll go to Vecchi Marins. He's worth the price of admission alone, that player, and just the spark and energy really capitalised on the lack of Zebras defenders in their lineup today. So that's who it is from me.
As we have a look at the goals, we'll leave you with those goals from another big South Hobart victory. They back within 6 points of the ladder leaders now after 8 rounds.
Hero in Tasmania too, Stone Cold.
Well, Stone Cold, what an introduction from him. He will be able to play next week, quite remarkably, but that's all.